Okay, all right then. So let's start with this as we have already done this part multiple times. So let me just quickly walk you through. We have already done our what is mean by cloud computing, what is mean by can you add some pointers what we have discussed in our last session? Yes, what things we have done?
Cloud
Cloud
com
computing, cloud provider,
Perfect. Cloud
SaaS,
providers. Perfect.
Types of service providers like IaaS and SaaS, PaaS.
SaaS,
Mhm.
SaaS,
Mhm.
deployment model,
Perfect. Deployment model. What are the cloud benefits, elasticity, scalability, availability, and all? What is mean by SLA, service level agreement? What is mean by zone, right? What is mean by data center? So we have that hierarchy where we have the geographies, then inside geography we have regions, inside region we have three zones, inside zones we have one or more than one data center, that data center has racks, and that rack has servers, right? After that, how to create the Azure subscription. That part also we discuss. How to create the free account, how to go for the pay as you go. After that, what is mean by enterprise subscription, Microsoft partner subscription, sponsorship, reseller, right? And after that, we discuss about organization chart, which is first of all, on the top, we have the parent management group. Inside that, we have multiple child management group, or you can add directly a subscription. You can add multiple subscriptions. Inside that subscription, you need to create a resource group, which is a logical grouping and which stores also the metadata. After that, inside the resource group, you are having your resources. And also, side by side, resource provider will also work to enable your services for you. Okay. So this part is done. Now, after that, we also discuss about the tags. So tag is kind of extra metadata to filter out your resources, right? So now, once we are done with this part, now today onwards, we are going to talk about the virtual machine. So first of all, let's say there is a company. We have already discussed about this scenario. Again, I'm just discussing it. Let's say there is a company and they have created multiple servers. They already purchased some PCs, everything. So disk, they have the machines with particular operating system and all. So all setup is done. So let's say they have 100 machines in their on premises, but now their business is booming and now they need more flexibility, right? So whenever they are changing the hardware, they need to spend their money with time. Money is okay because the business is booming, but time, in that particular time period, they need to stop their production environment. So that is a tricky task, right? So that's why they have decided to go for the cloud. So whenever we are going for the cloud, we have the infrastructure as a service, right? Where we can control our infrastructure. Okay. Now, whenever we are controlling our infrastructure, it means some of the part we are going to handle it and some of the part they need to handle. Okay. So what they need to handle? They need to handle the backend networking, that patching, updations, and that backups and all these things they need to manage. And other than that, whatever the middlewares we require, whatever the connectivities we require, whatever the operating system we need to choose, if I want to create the customization for my virtual machine, then I can perform it and I can use it for my application. Okay. Now, for this, first of all, let's discuss about like this. Whenever you are purchasing your laptop, what things you are thinking about? Tell me what kind of things you are thinking before you are purchasing the laptop.
What is the storage? What is the processor? Type of processor? How much RAM it is
Storage.
having?
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
And yeah, I mean, Pretty much, these are the basic things.
Storage part is major. Operating system, which operating system you want to use, that is also major part. Then there are many
Cost,
factors.
cost.
Connectivity is, yes, fast, whether it is fast or not, right?
No, no, cost. Cost is also one.
Costing, yes, perfect. The costing is a major factor here, right? Because whatever we are doing, we need to think about the costing. It should not go beyond our budget, right? So costing is there, operating system is there, then you are thinking about the RAM size, then you will think about the okay, hard disk storage is part of the hard disk. Then you will think about the GPUs and fast. After that, whenever you are choosing that laptops, you are having that options N series, D series, some series are there, right? So according to that, there are some changes inside the configuration. So like this only, virtual machine also gives you these options. So first of all, you need to decide what kind of operating system you need to use, which is kind of image, what RAM you need as per the size you need to choose, what kind of discs you want, right? And as per your costing, we have multiple options. Now you need to choose one of the option out of that, right? So the costing is also important. With that, we also have multiple sizes. So there is a compute category. After that, we have the memory category. After that, we have the HPCs, which is a high performance compute, H series virtual machines. If I'm going for the compute category, then we have the L series or something like that. If we need more memory, like a SAP virtual SAP machines, we want to migrate SAP on our Azure, then we need M series virtual machine. So there are multiple series we have, the categories we have. Now, according to that, you need to choose one of the category as per your requirement. Okay. Now, where you will get that option? So you will get these options. Let me just do this, right? Let me go for AG104. I'm not going out of this. Okay. So every time we are going for the learning paths only. And over here, you will get the virtual machine. So let me go for virtual network, storage, compute resources. And then we have the virtual machine availability, introduction to VM, create a virtual machine. So these are the availabilities we have. Now, let me just go for this. See here. Now, what things we need to do? We need to use the network virtual machine naming convention, because now here what is there? We have a multiple virtual machines in our organization or in our subscription. So you need to figure out which virtual machine is belongs to you. So if you remember last time I have discussed about the naming convention. So Microsoft has already given you the naming convention in some documentation. If you want to follow that, you can follow it. Otherwise, if you want to give the naming convention as VM1, VM2, VM3 like that, then also you can go for it. So naming convention is recommended by Microsoft, but to take it or not, that is your part, right? After that, here we have the VM sizes, VM disk. After that, we need to choose the operating system and the location. Location plays important role. Now, why location plays important role? Because if I'm creating, let's go for the Azure pricing calculator, right? So this is my Azure pricing calculator. So let me go for this. And now if I want to estimate my virtual machine, so the costing depends on these parameters. You can see here region, operating system, then type of OS you are selecting, then the tier you are selecting, category. instance series, after that how many virtual machines you want, and for what particular time period. So for example, I'm using this virtual machine only for 1 hour, right? So this I'm using it for 1 hour. If I'm selecting the East US region, Windows operating system, after that operating system type, I can go for OS only. Tier, I'm okay with the standard one because we need to use the standard one. And the size is D2V3. So which gives you 2 vCPUs, 8 GB RAM, 50 GB temporary storage, right? Now, if you want to select any other categories, you can select it from here. So for example, if I'm choosing that BS series with 2 cores as well as 8 GB RAM, see here, I'm just selecting this 2 vCPUs, 8 GB RAM. Then what is the pricing? You can see here the pricing is $0.09, right? But let's say if I'm selecting D2SV3 or something like that, DSV2, right? And if I'm selecting 2 vCPU, 7 GB as well. Earlier it was 8 GB, B series. But now if I'm selecting the D series, then it is kind of a 0.24, right? Why this is change? Because it depends on your compute engine. So D series is a general purpose for your testing purpose, for your day-to-day work. You can use the D series compute. B series, where the computation is not that much required, you are just using that PC to just store some kind of information, and after that you are just collecting that information. So that kind of a B series virtual machines are there. Now let's say if I'm selecting the East US, instead of the East US, I'm selecting the UK West. So see here, the pricing will change. Now this is 0.29. So let me go for Sweden Central. So this will give you the 0.23. So the pricing depends on your region as well. So the cheapest region by Microsoft is East US region. So that's why most of the users, or if you can go through the learning documents as well, you will get to know about that they are also creating it in East US region. Two reasons are there. Most of the services are available in East US region, and another thing, it is the cheapest one, right? But as per your latency and all, you can choose any region for you. Okay. So this is related to a region, right? After that, here we have the networking. Here we have that size. Let me just go see here. This is the one. So we have a general purpose, we have a compute optimized, we have memory optimized, we have storage optimized, GPUs, and high performance compute. Now, whenever I'm saying that general purpose, our D series VMs are categorized into the general purpose, where you are doing your day to day. So whenever we are also testing it, we are using the general purpose D series VMs. Compute optimized, it means it requires more compute, right? Where you are working with the web servers or the network appliance or the batch processors, then you can go for the compute. Where you need to work so many things or the manipulations, multiplications, everything, then you can go for the compute optimized. After that, we also have the memory optimized. So whenever we are thinking about the memory, then it is more on memory side, right? So for example, your relational databases, if you want to create a SQL server for it, if you want to have the cache or in-memory analytics you want to create, then you can go for the memory optimized. Storage optimized, simple. If you want to create some kind of a disk, then you can go for the storage optimized, where you need to just store your data, you want to store your data, right? GPU virtual machines, whenever you want to create any kind of a gaming application or videos kind of things, you need to work with that. You can go for GPU. For GPU, there is a N series. And this is a HPC. HPC is the high performance compute which used in the scientific region or military regions, where we need the highest, or I can say that supercomputers. So those are the H series. Maybe H series is not available right now for us. As per the subscription also, we have some kind of a series available, right? So we'll check on that as well. Now, once we are done with this part, see here what we have discussed. We need the storage, we need the operating system, we need to understand the costing, RAM. Also, we need to think about the networking, because here you don't have the clear visibility on your switches and routers, right? It is kind of imaginary for you. There are actual switches and routers, but for you, you can't do that, right? You can't see that. So that's why you need to put it in the perfect networking. If you want to add some restrictions on it, you need to add that restrictions. So networking is also plays important role. Now we are not working with networking today, we are not working with disk part today, right? We are just touching on the virtual machine. So we have the separate session for the storage part, we have a separate session for the networking part. So today only we are focusing on the VM part. Okay. And
Yeah.
the virtual, yes, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you, ma'am.
Yes.
So, will you be showing us like how, hands-on with respect to
Yes.
creation of VM and
Yes.
okay.
So
And
that's why I'm not using the presentation slide deck, because I
got it,
don't
got
want
it.
to spend my time on that.
Got it. And I have another doubt. Now, let's suppose I create my virtual machine using Azure, but then all of my physical resources, be it storage, compute, servers, and the rest, all of it is physical. Whereas only my Azure is, my VM is in Azure. So, can you also tell how the connectivity happens, how the functionality is, what are the options that are to be chosen?
Okay. So
Yeah.
for that, what you need to do, first of all, you need to convert. Suppose you want to just copy and paste that data in your virtual machine, you can directly drag and drop. That is possible.
Yeah, you
Another,
meant the clone part. Like cloning a VM, physical, this one?
just copy paste. If you want to just store your data. So let's suppose I have my some folders. I want to copy that folders and I wanted to add it in my virtual machine. You can just copy and paste. That is fine. But
Okay,
let's say you have your big kind of a data and there is a disk, and you want to attach that particular disk to your virtual machine. Then
okay.
we need to do the migration. So for
Oh,
the migration part, you need to transfer your complete data onto the storage account disk. And then from there, you need to attach that disk to your virtual machine.
okay.
Okay.
No, yeah. My question was partially answered. So I meant now let's say I want to completely host the VM. So now let's say I have the entire data, but then everything is physical, but just the VM is virtual. That's there on the Azure. So how do I like completely migrate? Can you like show the steps while you're showing the lab, the options I meant?
Yes, I will show you that options. Okay.
Okay, thank
So
you.
let's get start with the virtual machine. So I hope you already aware about how the Azure portal looks like, right? Last time also we have just walked through this, right? Now to search for the resource, I said that you can go from here, right? You can create your resources from here. If I'm going from here, I can get virtual machine, right? See here, virtual machine. So what kind of virtual machines we have by using the marketplace and all, you will get all kind of informations here. And then you can choose your virtual machine from here. Okay. But the best option to create the virtual machine from here, the search bar. Why? Because from here you will get the resources which are related to the virtual machines. You will get the marketplace options for the virtual machine, as well as you will get the documentation. So, for example, if I am searching for virtual machine, right? See here, I'm getting the marketplace, I'm getting this Microsoft Entra ID if there is any kind of option for that. I will get the documentations as well. So now I will choose always. Earlier, Microsoft was also using that create the resource from the create resource option from here. But after that, they specifically said that you need to go from the search bar itself, right? Now, over here we have the multiple options. Either you can go for the simple virtual machine, or you can go for the VMSS, or you can go for the preset. Preset means all the pre-configured virtual machine. So if in the one go itself I want to create a multiple virtual machines, then instead of adding multiple things in that, you can go for the preset one, which create pre-configured VM designed to optimize memory capacity, right? Now, after that, we will go for this option. We are not going for the hybrid configurations and high volume solutions. We will go only with the virtual machine. So let's go for the virtual machine first. Now, what we need for the virtual machine? We need subscription. If you have multiple, you can choose one. Now, we also need the resource group, right? After that, either you can create it from here, or either you can choose the existing resource group. Now, the naming convention, as per Microsoft recommendation, what we need to do? We need to always start with resource name, right?
I'm sorry to cut
Mhm.
you.
Yes.
So the resource group, when we are naming it, I mean, if we are using the existing resource group, is the billing, does it differ? Like if we use create a new resource group and then assign it to the VM separately, a particular resource group, and then, so if existing resource group is used, does it anyway change
No,
the billing?
resource group is not costing anything.
Okay.
Resource group is just kind of a logical grouping. So
So
now
it's
it
absolutely based on the,
requirement.
yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay, so it is up to you whether you want to put it in one resource group, or you want to put your all the resources in different resource groups. Okay, all
Yeah.
right, good question. So now let me just go for, once you create, whenever you are selecting the naming convention, always go for this one, right? So first of all, always start with VM. After that, hyphen, whether it is a Windows operating system or the Linux operating system. After that, let's say this is my application or IIS page I want to install on it, right? After that, I can say that this is not my first virtual machine. In that, I need to create a multiple virtual machines. So you can put the naming convention as this: first, second, third, like that, right? So let's say this is my Windows virtual machine. If you want to also add your region specific, you can also add that. Now over here, what I need to do, I need to put it inside my West US. You can choose any region. Because of the high demand in East US region, right now we are facing some challenges to create some resources in that. It doesn't mean that I can't create the virtual machine. But for the safer side, I'm using the West US region for me, right? Now, after that, here we have two options. You can see that there is no zone, but if I'm selecting any other region, let's say West US 3, no, there is no zone. Let me go for the East US region to show you. See here, this is the East US region. Now you can see that availability zone is there, VMSS is there, and availability set is there. Now let me go back to my West US region because I wanted to create it in the West US only, right? Now let's talk about these three options. Now let's say, so this part we required whenever, let's suppose you are creating your web application on the virtual machine. Your all virtual machines are the web server. So if I'm putting one virtual machine, let's say for 64 GB RAM, or it's kind of a major RAM size, everything that can handle my complete traffic. Whatever the traffic is there, they can handle it, right? By single virtual machine. So whenever we are doing these things, will it work? properly because my only one virtual machine all time handling complete traffic. So by the best practices and in the real time, we can't go with this approach. Now why? Because if you are creating the big size of virtual machine, that is okay, it is handling the traffic, that is okay, but that virtual machine is present in a rack, right, of one of the data center, and you already know about that the single virtual machine have 99.9 percentage of SLA. It means if it is present in my rack, that rack is connected to some power supply. It might happen there is a power cut issue. It might happen Microsoft is doing some updations. So at that moment, they completely stop that rack. It means enough 24 hours. I might have 3 to 4 minutes of issue with my virtual machine. And within that 3 to 4 minutes, if it is a high demanding application, it will impact your users as well, right? Your business as well. So we can't afford these things. So instead of that, a single virtual machine, what we can do, we are creating multiple virtual machines. So that what will happen, this is my VM1, this is my VM2, and this is my VM3. So when we have three virtual machine in front of the customers, they don't know which virtual machine they are accessing, which virtual machine they are getting served, but they are redirected to one of the virtual machine out of this. And to handle that, there is a load balancer, right? Now what is mean by the load balancer, how to attach that virtual machines and all, that part we will going to discuss in our networking part. But now what is that, the users are not accessing the virtual machines directly, users are accessing the load balancers, and that load balancers divide the traffic in between the virtual machines, right? And these virtual machines, load balancer will check that whether this virtual machine is up and running. So to check that, there is a health probe. After every 5 minutes, they are sending that information, or 5 seconds something, they are sending that they are sending some request ping, and they are getting the output as a pong. So this is get and post, right? So with that, load balancer get to know about that which virtual machine is up and running right now. And if this virtual machine goes down, all the traffic will go for VM2 and VM3. So with that only we are handling the traffic for the huge amount of demand applications, right? So sometimes you think about that whenever there is government applications, and there is some kind of let's say college application or any kind of things, servers are there, and you are thinking about that, okay, that server is not working, server is down. Why the server is down? Because there is a high demand at the same time, right? To handle that, this load balancer also not able to work because they have not created a multiple virtual machine. So this is kind of a some kind of a case studies that we need to think, right? But right now what we need to think, there are multiple virtual machines. Now another thing, let's suppose I have created three virtual machines to handle the traffic. Okay, why? Because I can't put everything in the same rack. But how did you know about that? Whenever you are creating three virtual machines, Microsoft will keep that three virtual machines in rack 1, rack 2, and rack 3. No, right? Because Microsoft will not tell you about that. Or Microsoft will not give you the option to select the rack, or give you the option to select the data center. Whatever is available, Microsoft will put it over there. So now this is kind of a issue. Let's say I have designed this particular architecture to maintain my traffic. But what Microsoft has put all the virtual machines in the same rack. If there is a power cut or if there is a updation or patching, Microsoft will stop that rack. So I need to specifically tell Microsoft that please put this virtual machine in a different rack. So putting that virtual machines in a different rack within a data center is called as availability set. Okay, this is called as availability set. Now in the availability set, what happened? So
I'm sorry to cut
mhm,
you. I'm so
yes,
sorry.
yes.
So, is there a concept of vCenter in Azure?
vCenter is in.
I mean, so VMs ideally come from the vCenter, right? Under first, in an ideal data center situation, we have
Mhm.
something like a vCenter under which there is a tag-based mechanism of under these tags. We ideally, I mean, the VMs that are newly detected are automatically seen in the list under the vCenter. So, I mean, I thought load balancer is, I mean, in on-prem DC, ideal situation happens where load balancer is the role of a vCenter. So, is there a concept of vCenter here?
No, in Azure, there is no concept of vCenter, but
So, what is managing the load balancer? I mean, there is some trigger point for the load balancer to give instructions to uh, divert the traffic respectively, right? From VM 1, 2, 3. So,
yes, it is
yes.
kind of a round robin.
So,
So
what is that? Sorry?
it is kind of a round robin. By using that round robin principle, they are just spreading that traffic towards the virtual machine in the backend.
Okay. No, who is processing these signals or triggers to send to the load balancer?
Everything handled by Microsoft. You don't have the visibility on it.
Oh, okay.
So that's why Microsoft is managing it. So
Okay.
why networking is tricky? Because you don't have a hold on it. So once you said that, okay, handle my traffic, then Microsoft will take care of it.
Got it.
Okay, all right, great. Now let's talk about the availability set. Now, availability set refers to only data center. So this is the provision within a data center. Now what happened? So suppose this is your data center, right? And in that data center, there are multiple racks. So these are my racks. I can say these four and then five, right? So this is my rack 1, rack 2, rack 3, rack 4, and rack 5. Okay? And in that rack, we have servers like this, right? Another thing, Microsoft also adds the power connections, right? So here we have the power connectivities. And it is not like that every rack is connected to the different power supply. No. So Microsoft will give you the 2 or 3 power supplies, right? So as per your fault domain varies from 2 to 3. It means you can choose 2 or maximum you can go for 3. You can choose 2 power supplies lines or you can choose 3 supply lines. So for example, this is my power supply 1, this is my 2, this is my 3, again this is 1, this is 2, and if there is another one, there is a 3. So like that, all racks are connected to the power supplies. Okay. Now, after that, in the availability set, we need to choose from the fault domain and the update domain. Now, whenever there is an update domain, it varies from 4 to 20. How many racks are there? You need to choose. Now, Microsoft, suppose, for example, this is a 4. Then Microsoft will put it like this. You update domain 1, update domain 2, UD3, then UD4, again UD1, UD2, and so on. So now if I'm taking my fault domain as a 2, then for me it is like that fault domain 1, fault domain 2. Now this is connected to the third power supply, so I'll skip that and this is fault domain 1, and then again fault domain 2. So like that. Okay. Now, what will happen here? So whenever we are creating, let me just do like this. Once you select the FD, then it will go like this. So whatever your 3 and 4, like this. Okay. Now, fault domain means what? If there is a power supply cut, if there is a power failure, or if there is any kind of issues happen with the connectivity, then it is called as a fault domain. Now, update domain means what? If Microsoft is going for the maintenance and the updation, patching and all, Microsoft will keep that rack down. So this is what the update domain. Now, what we need to do, suppose I have 5 virtual machines or I have 6 virtual machines. Let's say I have 6 VMs. Now I need to tell Microsoft for the fault domain, I'm choosing 2. For the update domain, I'm choosing 4. Then spread my virtual machines accordingly. Now, whenever I'm saying this, it means my first virtual machine will go over here in the first rack. My second virtual machine will go over here. My third virtual machine will go over here, and then fourth virtual machine will go over here. The remaining 2 will go like this. VM5, VM6. If I have more, then VM7, VM8, VM9, VM10 and so on. So now I can make sure about that these virtual machines are spreaded over the multiple racks. So if something went happened with the fault domain 1, then my this rack will go down, and the fault domain 1, this rack will go down. But still, by using my load balancer, my virtual machine 2, 6 and 4 can handle the traffic. Right? Let's say there is a updation and patching is working on my second update domain, this rack. Then my VM1, VM5, VM3, VM4 can handle my traffic. So it means that you are distributing your virtual machines in a different racks by using the availability set. And because of that, you will get the availability as 99.95%. If you remember, by using the single virtual machine, we are getting the availability as 99.9%. But now you are increasing it to 95%, right? So this is all about the data center. So we are providing.
One thing, ma'am,
Yes.
even though they go with as a maintenance purpose also, even through racks only, right? One by one they will go, right?
Yes.
Entire availability based on the. But even when you as a operation perspective and admin perspective, for example, I'm a operation guy. When I do the reboot of my server actually, so one of the VM I'm doing the restart, but I don't have a clear picture. But admin know this, right? So because of I'm giving to hand over to my patching work and everything, my server reboot, and I'm giving to admin to reboot the servers. Okay, actually, but admin knows the everything based on the available sets and those kind of where it is exactly lies in that. But admin knows that, right?
Yes.
But you mentioned like so we don't have any visibility on.
You don't have visibility. So whenever you are saying that admin means Microsoft only knows about it.
Okay, Microsoft. Okay.
So from your end, you can reboot your virtual machine multiple times.
Okay.
But whatever the updation, suppose there is a new thing is coming, patch is coming, or some little bit extra version is coming. So Microsoft will do that for you. Okay.
But as per my vision, like a VCA team, infrastructure team, they will know to handle the things because of they will tell us like so now I think I have a 2 servers are there for on FT mode. Okay, so I am taking the one of the server report. Second one should be because of 100% live traffic. So second one live and it there. But based on the our requirement, they will already set the things, and based on the availability, we need to give the our servers. This is the 2 servers are there. One is the FT mode. Both are the FT mode, and we as per requirement we need to tell them ki what we need to exact requirement. So this is the
Yes.
requirement from our side, right?
right? Because you are doing it in your premises. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
you have the visibility on each and every one.
Yeah.
That admin have the visibility. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying that networking is a tricky part because you don't have the visibility and control on it.
Yeah.
You can only provision the things from outer side
Okay.
and
Okay.
tell Microsoft to put these things in a different racks as per your this requirement.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
So that is the condition.
Yes, yes. Based on that designing part, and when we are
So
infrastructure making, that's designing part.
Yes.
This is agreement.
Yes.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
kind of an agreement.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So,
Yes,
sorry.
Dharmendra.
Yeah. So, no, well, now with respect to the networking part, when it is completely integrated and it is not visible to the user or a client, then there are some sensitive clients or, customers wherein they're much of, focused on how the networking happens, and, they're more concerned about the security because of the malware attacks or anything of such sort. So in such sense, they might want some scripts to run on the networking part of it, where it extra protects their existing data flow that is happening between. So does Microsoft give that provision to add on extra scripts so that the network line is secure?
So scripts, I need to check from where we can add. But yes, there are multiple firewalls. You can also add the web application firewall. There are multiple other options where you can secure your data, right? So I will talk about these things in the networking part because, as I said, this is kind of a vast concept
Yeah, yeah, got it.
for the
Okay.
networking. So
Yeah.
one by one, we'll go for it.
Okay.
You can also route the traffic, which virtual machine you want, and how you are routing the traffic to what. So these things also you can manage in the networking. Okay. So we'll cover these pointers over there. Will that work?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. All right, then availability set is done. But the major issue for the availability set is it is all things we are provisioning within a data center. But what if the data center goes down? Then what to do? So, to data center failure solution, if you want to create the solution for the data center failure also, you can put your some of the virtual machines in a zones. So this is called availability zone. And with that availability zone, you will get 99.99 percentage of availability, right? Now, what happened over here? So by using that availability zone, your region is divided. Your region is divided in three zones. So this is a zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3. And you can choose by yourself. You don't need to put the fault domain. You don't need to put the update domain and all. You just need to choose which zone. Okay, suppose I want to create my virtual machine 1 over here, virtual machine 2 in zone number 3 and virtual machine 3 in zone number 2. That is okay. So if you have 6 virtual machine, I will put my 3 virtual machines over here, VM5 and VM6. So this is up to you. In which zone you want to create your virtual machines, right? So this is kind of a distribution of your virtual machines. So that's why, but you can say that, okay, so why we are not always going with that? Why we are going with the availability set? Yes, your question is also right. But some of the regions don't have the availability zones. So for that, if you want to increase your availability, then you need to go for availability set. And availability set is a service where the availability zone is a feature. Now, whenever I'm saying that is a service, then you can see that let's suppose I'm selecting East US region, right? And I'm selecting that availability zone. Over here, this is my first virtual machine. I can choose zone number 1, 2, 3, anything from here. But now let's suppose I'm going for my West US, right? And here we don't have that option, and this is my availability set. Whenever you are going for availability set, it is asking you to create the resource first. So that's why availability set is a service. It is not a feature. So let me just go for this create new. I'm not going to create anything right now because we will going to create some of the VMs in availability set, some of the VMs in availability zone in our load balancing demonstration. Okay. But here you can see that here we have 3 maximum and here we have 20 maximum. So remember these as well because these are related to your examination as well. Okay. So now let me just cancel this because I don't want to put anything in the availability zone or anywhere. Now, for the security concerns, if you want to uh, put some one more layer of security, by default, Microsoft is doing encryption and decryption for your virtual machine, storage part, disk part, everything. But still, if you want to protect your virtual machine against persistence or advanced attacks, then you can go for it. If you want to go for confidential virtual machines, so it is having some higher confidential infra or information or integrity guarantee you want, right? Trusted virtual machines you want, you can go for this. But right now I'm not going for it because if I'm choosing these options, it means I'm increasing my costing. So that's why I'm not doing this as well. So see here, you can see that costing over here. So this costing is per month basis. So I'm not choosing that. Now here, this is a Ubuntu. So I don't want to go for Ubuntu virtual machine. So from here, you can choose whatever you want. So either you are from the Red Hat, you want to create a Red Hat or Oracle, or you want to create the SUSE operating system, Debian you want to go. You can go from here, see all sizes. You can go for Windows 10, Windows 11 Pro as well if you have the licenses. So suppose, let's say you are doing the migration, you just purchase your Windows licenses. Now, these window licenses, you required it because, for example, you are migrating. So, whenever we are migrating, that license may of no use, right? So, to utilize that licenses, you can go for this option, Windows 11. Whenever you are going for it, virtual machine, you will have this option for license. Uh, okay, so in that Windows 11 only, we have that option for the license, right? It means if you have your license already, let me go for Windows operating system, Azure edition, and let me just select, see here, this one. So if you already have your existing window license, server license with you, you can click on this and it will give you the 49% discount on your costing. Okay. Now, you can see that whenever I'm choosing the Linux operating system, the pricing was low. For Windows operating system, the pricing is high. That's okay. So let me just go for my virtual machine. Now I'm choosing this data center. That is okay for me. Which VM architecture you want, you can choose if you have multiple options available. Now here there is a spot discount. So see here, there is a spot discount. If I'm enabling this, then there are options. One is a capacity only and one is the price or capacity. Now what happened here? So let's say you want to create your virtual machine. But that virtual machine pricing something near about $175, right, per month. Now let's say you don't want for per complete month. You want it just for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, or let's say 10 minutes, maximum 15 minutes kind of. So this is kind of a testing environment. So this required whenever there is a high level of traffic and you want to add some of the virtual machines to manage it. It's just kind of a helping hand. So that is the one scenario. Another scenario is if you want to test some particular small feature and just delete that virtual machine. So in that way, creating the virtual machine with full costing is something kind of not best practice. So if we have some option to reduce the costing, we'll go for it, right? So the spot instance will give you that option. Now spot instance means what? So data centers are already having multiple servers. Out of those servers, let's say 90% servers are utilized, 10% servers are still available. So you can go for the spot instance in between the 10% of available servers. It means that I'm taking it in the less pricing, okay, discounted pricing of the spot instance. But whenever you want, you can take it out. For example, 10% is remaining in your data center and there is a suddenly rise in all traffic and all virtual machines need the extra virtual machines with them. Let's say there are multiple VMSs and they want extra virtual machines to handle that traffic. So they will also take it from 10% of availability, right? Available servers. Now over here, what happens? So if someone wants it, that at that same moment, your virtual machine get evicted from you, right? If someone wants, they will not ask you whether can I take it or not. They will just directly cancel your virtual machine and take it out. So that is what the eviction. So don't use that spot instance for your normal virtual machines or your if you want to spend some time on it. It is just only for if you want to just test the virtual machine or else you just want to support for the some time to your load balancers. That time only you can choose it. Now, whenever you are doing that evictions, see here. If you are going for the spot instance, see the value $35. If I'm not selecting it, then $172. So it's a huge amount change. But if I'm selecting this and Microsoft is evicting my virtual machine at any point of time, then what I can do? I have two options. Either if Microsoft wants the capacity, if they wants capacity for it, virtual VMSs are there, multiple VMSs are there, and from there they want the capacity, then you can evict by VM. If someone is saying that okay, I can pay more, I want virtual machine, pricing or capacity, in both situation you can evict my VM. Now once you evict my virtual machine, what you can do? Either you can delete that virtual machine completely or else you can stop or deallocate. Now, stop or deallocate means what? This is kind of a what we can say, we are canceling out the compute, but we are having the storage. Now, whenever I am saying that virtual machine is divided into compute and storage.
Ma'am, sorry to cut you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, go
now,
ahead.
when we are using this Azure Spot, we are getting the cost to $35, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're opting out for that, it's close to 170 or something. So now, considering, will this have a scalability option for the Azure Spot? If that is there, then we can, do a scalability on the existing Spot Azure Spot PM, and then that would still not cost much more than 170, right?
Scalability isn't what you need. For the virtual machine, we only have the virtual machine vertical scaling, not the horizontal scaling.
Okay. As in, ma'am, I mean, what is the difference? I don't get it.
Okay, so vertical scaling is in you can increase and decrease the size of the virtual machine. So, for example, this is a 4 GB virtual machine. So, you can go for 3.5 GB or 1 GB if you don't need it, or you can go for 8 GB if you required more support.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is the vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling means what? There is a 4 GB virtual machine, but Because of the traffic comes right now, we need more support. So it will attach one more virtual machine. So this is my one instance. This is my second instance of 4 GB.
Okay.
So this is what the capacity. So it if it required the capacity for the virtual machine scale sets. So this is the another service. VMSS. So if we required more instances, that is called as a capacity.
Okay. So,
Okay. Hmm.
yeah, now considering the Azure Spot now that we have, so I mean, like, what I was thinking is, if we can we actually, extend the timing of the availability of that particular VM?
No.
Okay,
Spot instance means if someone wants it, Microsoft will evict it at that same moment. They will also not ask you,
okay,
right? So that is the what we can say, that is the one pointer that you need to consider. That's why whenever you are choosing the spot instance, make sure about that you are not using it for long time.
okay, got it.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Now, the virtual machine have the compute and storage. It means your vCPUs and all. And the storage part is your disk part, right? So inside the disk part also we have the operating system, right? OS disk. We also have a disk part if you want to attach it. And third part is temporary disk. So this is by default for everyone, for every virtual machine. So temporary disk is required to put the logs and all in it. You can't store your data inside the temporary disk because whenever there is a rebooting or whenever you are restarting that virtual machine, that temporary disk will flush out. Okay. If you want to store any kind of data in it, like our hard disk, you can attach the disk for your virtual machines. And here we have the operating system. So whenever, let's suppose right now you are using your laptops. So once you are done with this class, you will just shut down your your laptop, right? Why you are shutting it down? To reduce the power consumption. So here also to reduce the cost consumption, we are canceling the compute. It means we are just cancel out, okay, take your compute back and just keep my storage available for me. Okay. So whenever I want, I can start my VM. So stopping means what? You are cancel out the compute charge from you. It means there is no vCPU and nothing for you. So it is only having the storage. Now, if you start it again, then virtual machine will again ask for the compute from Microsoft and they will attach all these things to that. Right? So this is what the compute and storage. Now here the same thing happened. So what you want? Do you want to keep your storage and everything over there like a stop or deallocate, or you just want to delete it? So these options are the one, right? Now hibernation is not supported by this particular size. So this is also kind of enabling this kind of a feature like a spot instance kind of a feature. You can just go for this. See here. Hibernation saves your time and money by deallocating your virtual machine and saving the contents of its RAM or the root value, right? Volume. Now see here. This is also one of the option to reduce your costing. But right now we are not going to talk about it. Now let's focus on the size of it. So as per the categories, we have a multiple sizes and here you can see the costing of it as well. See here, here you can see the costing. So which one you are selecting? Let's say I am selecting the D2S V3, which is 2 vCPU and 8 GB RAM. Data disk, I can attach data disk 4. Maximum IOPS, local storage is 16. Local storage means it's a temporary storage. Premium disk supported for it, and this is the pricing per month. So you can go for the E series as well. You can check all the series. See here, M series, N series and all. So now due to the costing, I will go for my D2S V3, right? Now, once we are done with this, here you need to add the username for your virtual machine. So whenever you are switching on your laptop, it is asking you for the username and password. So the same to connect with your laptop, right? So the same thing, if you need it for the virtual machine, we need to add the username and password. So let me just cancel this password and I need to add my own password.
Ma'am, is there any special specification for the D series, E series, L series?
Yes. So when to choose what? That is the criteria. If you remember, I have already given you that criteria here,
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
right?
Based on our requirement, storage,
Yes.
capacity, high speed
Yes.
performance, kind of. Okay.
So if you go through this, there is
Hmm.
a link. So
Hmm.
you will get all the list,
Yeah.
which series is their size and all. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So this is a Azure user. All right. Now, this is the next part. So this is the inbound port rules. Now here, Microsoft by default, whenever you are choosing Windows operating system, they are opening that RDP, which is a 3389 port. So if you want to connect with your virtual machine, you need to use the RDP, right? After that, this is a HTTP. If you want to enable this HTTP from here, if you are creating the web server and you want to access the web server from the public IP address, then you need to enable this HTTP AT port. Here, this is the HTTPS. Now, if you are selecting the Linux operating system, by default, Microsoft will enable this secured shell. Now, this is the SSH, which is on the port number 22. You don't need to worry about it right now because we are creating only the Windows operating system. So, other than that, so all these factors, for example, disk. So here you have that OS disk. You can see that OS disk, right? After that, here we have the premium SSD. You can choose whatever you want. So for example, let's say this is my general purpose, but still it is just kind of a backup purpose or non-critical things. Then I can go for the this option. So you can see that the pricing change over here, right? Now let's say if I'm choosing the standard SSD, then there is some little bit change in this in the costing as well. See here 162. But if you want to create some production environment or the performance sensitive, you can go for this premium SSD. I'll go with standard one because this is best for the web servers and the lightly used enterprise application because we are going to create the web servers only, right? Now, this operating system disk, everything will get deleted whenever we are deleting the virtual machine. So you can just keep this on and then go for the next part. Now, another thing is enable ultra disk capability. So this is recommended for HANA servers. So whenever we are working with the SAP workloads, HANA servers, where we need the huge amount of a storage disk part, that time only you can go for the ultra disk. And from here you can attach your disk. See here, the option is existing disk and here we are having the attached disk. This option is managed disk. And here we have unmanaged disk. So in the disk part, we have two things. One is managed disk and another way one is unmanaged disk. Now, what is mean by managed disk? Management, Microsoft is going to manage it. Everything, patching and all things. Unmanaged means you need to manage it by yourself. Now, whenever we are saying that unmanaged, this is used whenever we are doing the migration. It means we need to migrate our data to the storage account and then we need to attach the storage account over here. Now let's go for this one. If I'm selecting the existing one, so see here, it is asking me to attach one, but I don't have, because right now I don't have the storage account. But you can go for the manage disk. So see here, this is my disk. You can attach. How much you can attach? Here you can change the size. So maximum, see here, this is a maximum size. You can attach the disk. Now once you attach the disk, it is again uh, it is again add your costing, right? So right now I'm not going to attach anything because we will work with the disk part in our next part, okay, which is a storage. In advanced one as well, you can see here, this is the manage disk by default. If you are not selecting it, you need to select your storage account, okay, where you are storing your data. So right now I'm going with my manage disk itself. Now in the networking, I already have created one virtual network because I am facing a challenge for my RDP connection because I'm using that Mac OS. So that's why I have created a bastion. Now what is mean by bastion and all, that part we will going to discuss in our networking. Okay. Now we will only focus on our virtual machine itself. Now the virtual machine is connected to public IP address as well as a private IP address. Now, what is mean by that? That part also we will going to discuss in a networking. Right now, just remember we have the public IP address to connect with that. In management, we have a multiple options for the management. If you want to enable the system assigned managed identity, you can enable it. Now, what is mean by that? So, this is kind of a identity you want to attach. Now what is mean by identity and all, we'll going to discuss in our Entra ID. Okay, so right now don't focus on this, right? Only we are focusing on the basic parameters of the virtual machine. But here you can have one option of the auto shutdown. So let's say you just created the virtual machine and you just forget to stop that virtual machine. So you are working from 9 to 5. After that, you are not working on that virtual machines. It means what? You are just spending your money for it. It is kind of a wastage of your money. So some of the virtual machines who are just for you, those are working with you only, that you can do the auto shutdown. Not the production virtual machine. You can't put the production virtual machines for the auto shutdown, okay? Because they have to run 24 by 7. After that, in the monitoring, boot diagnostic, if you want to enable the boot diagnostic, then it will create the storage account. So it will store all kind of a step-by-step boot diagnostic guidance over there. And whenever you want to again do the same thing, diagnostics or the booting, then it will follow the same options, right? Then here we have the advanced. Now, this is the extension installation. Before you are starting the virtual machine, if you want to install some extensions, for example, AMD, Agent for Monitoring, Azure AD based Windows login, see here Application Insights Agent, or any other automation workflows or the performance diagnostics. So these are the multiple extensions are there. Even if you want to install the IIS on it, you can add your data in your custom script and then you can attach that. Datadog, again monitoring, right? So if you want to attach any extension of it, you can attach. From here, if you already have some application and you want to install that applications, you can install that applications from here. Right now, I don't have any application, so I'm just keeping it as it is. Now, this is the major part, which is a cloud in it. For example, this is my Linux virtual machine. And for Linux, whenever you are connecting with that, first of all, you need to check your, update your, what we can say, servers. After that, you need to install, if you want to install the web server on it, you need to install the Nginx or you need to install the Apache on it. And then you need to wait for some time, right? So here, if you want to do it, whenever there is a deployment going on, In between that only you want to do some installations, like you want to install the Docker and all. So in our next part, we will going to use that cloud in it, right? If you want to do that, you can go for this cloud in it. Okay. Now, once we are done, right now we are not doing anything on it, and then we are going for the review and create. Let's wait for a while. And the estimated time period to create the virtual machine is near about 2 minutes. Okay. So this is for the first time we are creating the VM on this. So let's wait. Okay, done. And then hit on create. Sometimes what happen, you are just hitting on to the review and create. That's it. So this is not sufficient. For the first review and create, it will check the validation, whether all things are correct or not. And after that, once you select the create button, then and then only it will start to create. Never. Okay, so let them start this and let me go for the next part. Okay, so let me go over here for this. Now, we have already started the virtual machine and we have configured the virtual machine, not in the availability, but we have configured the virtual machine and how to manage the virtual machines and all. Now, for this, we also have the labs. What is the status of your lab environment? Do you get your Azure portal access?
I've checked with Meenakshi in the group, yet to receive an update about it.
Okay. All right. Okay, then. All right. So let me just give you the link as well where you need to complete that lab. Okay. But till that time, let's focus on this. So whenever we are creating the single virtual machine, it is creating network security group. It is creating public IP address, network interface, and now virtual machine. So whenever you are creating the single VM in the backend, it will generate 5 to 6 resources, other resources. Okay. And here you can get the template. Template means what? Whatever we are doing here on a portal, in the backend, Microsoft has written it in the form of JSON file, JavaScript object notation. If you need the template, so this is called as a ARM template. If you need the template and you want to create the same kind of a virtual machine again, you can deploy it from here, right? But right now I'm not going to do that. Let's focus only on our virtual machine. So now let me get inside my resource group and here you will get all the options. So this is trouble, the issue. Let me just check. Okay, let me check it afterwards or else I'll create a one more virtual machine for that. Okay. Now, see here what things we have. See here, we have the public IP address. We also have the virtual network configured with that. See here, time created. You will get that location. You will get the resource group over here. Everything, all the informations are present over here. Now, how to connect with that? So to connect with that, if you are using your Windows operating system, then there is a RDP. Okay, then there is a RDP. So you can just search from your search bar. You can right now also search for it, remote desktop connection. So once you select that, it is already there inbuilt in your Windows operating system, and then you can just put your public IP address of the virtual machine. That's it, right? Right now I'm using MacBook and I'm facing some challenges with my Microsoft apps. So that's why what I will do, I will go for the Bastion. So Bastion will create the complete structure. If I want to connect to my virtual machine, Bastion will give me the access on the internet itself, right? So what I can do, this is my username. This is my username, Azure user. And for the password, and then hit on connect. See here, it is opening over here itself. So if I'm using the Bastion, but Bastion is something costlier service, but I can afford it, I can manage it for some time only. Okay, so I have created my Bastion. Now, how to create the Bastion, how to connect with that part again, we are going to discuss in our networking. Right now, just experience how the Bastion works. Okay, so how we can create the connectivity with our virtual machine. So let's wait for a while, and this will be my virtual machine like my laptop, Windows laptop. Let's wait. See here, now you will see that all the changes. Okay, see here. Now, whenever you are starting it for the first time, your virtual machine, you are starting it for the first time. Here you can see that the server manager. First of all, it will pop up, right? On to that, what you need to do first is go to the local server, right? And here there is the internet connectivity, i.e. enhanced security configuration. Right now, this is unknown. So what we need to do, we need to select it. We see here, it is on. We need to select that, and then we need to make it as a off. Now, what is mean by that? So by default, Microsoft is restricting all the internet connectivity. So if I'm going for the browse option directly, then it will not allow me because it is restricted from the enhanced security configuration. So you need to off it, and then you can use your web servers. Sorry, you can use your Internet Explorer. Okay. Now, another thing is here, you can see here all servers. You can see that all servers, you can see the dashboards. Now, let's say I want to add some features. Let's say I wanted to make this particular virtual machine as a web server. So what I can do, I can go for this one option. I can go for next, next, and then next. And here you can see that web server option. You need to enable this. See here, this is IIS web server. So suppose if you want to make this virtual machine as a AD Connect, you need to install that. If you want to make this virtual machine to hypervisor, you need to install hypervisor on it. If you want to make this virtual machine to SQL server, you need to add the feature of the SQL server. So right now I wanted to make this one as my web server. Then I can choose my IIS, right? You can see here all the options are present, and then go for next, 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 and then
So,
next.
sorry, ma'am. So, do
Yes.
we need to explicitly define the internet connectivity to the VM, or does it auto detect it?
Internet connectivity is auto detected. That is not the issue. But whenever you are going for the Edge browser, you can't access anything before you are disabling that option, i.e. enhancement security.
Okay, okay. I think the firewall disabling also works. If we disable it, I think we can access the edge, right?
Yes, you can do that. Okay. All right, now let me just wait for it. Now you can get this option over here, IIS. Okay, so let's wait for a while, and then let me just open that file manager from here. So it is a little bit slow. Okay, and I guess I will get something in my PC C drive. Okay, so let me just go over here. And here we will get some option. Okay, once we are done with this, then and then only we will get that option. Now, what you need to do. So let me go for this one. Or the first exercise for the virtual machine. So you need to create a virtual machine with Windows operating system, virtual machine. Right now, I'm going to show you how to create the web server on it. The same way you need to enable the web server on it, right? And after that, you just need to type and your name. You can just put your name and then you can just add some sentence over there. That's it, right? How to do that? I will show you right now. So let me go back to my VM and let's wait for a while. And another thing, once you are ready with your lab environment, you just need to search for AG400 GitHub Labs, right? Enter. Always remember that you will get your all learning paths and everything whenever you are doing AG104 exam, whenever you are searching it. And you will get all the lab documentation whenever you are searching for AG104 GitHub Labs. So this is for all the course. If you want to check for 305, you can go for it. If you want to get the 204, then you can go for it, right? So right now I'm going inside my AG104 and over here, if you go down, so this is the link to lab. Now you need to perform today these two labs. Okay, not these two only labs, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So for today's class, we need to perform virtual machine, web application, container instance and container apps. Okay, all 4. Now for this particular task for the virtual machine, you need to finish lab number 8. So let me share this link with you where we have that chat. Okay, this is a link for 104 and you need to finish lab number 8, 9, 9A, B, C. Okay, let me just put it like this. Lab 8 and lab 9. 9 all. Okay, now you will get all the things over here. Now, what you need to do, don't complete task number 5 and 6 because we have not done yet PowerShell and the CLI. We are going to talk about the VMSS now. Okay. We are going to talk about the virtual machine. We already discussed about the virtual machine. We are going to create the VMSS now, right? But these two parts, you can just keep it as it is. And this is also optional. So you can skip that part. Now, once you are done with this, here, if you can go back, there are interactive lab simulation. Interactive lab simulation is not available for each and every course. So interactive lab simulation means what? If you stuck anywhere here, so you can go for the interactive lab simulation and here you will get where to click over here, there, everywhere. See here, all the labs are present and this is complete, what we can say, you can just go for this one. So you can just start it and one by one, step by step, how I'm performing it right now in your in front of you. So you will get each and every detail, but no audio. So you will get only the options where to click here and there, and then you can perform the labs. Okay. So this is for AG104. After that, I will talk about AG305 once we complete this. Okay. And I hope I have given this one as well. Or let me just give you this link as well. Okay. So this is the certification link.
So we have already covered AZ 900.
AZ 900, yes, half part we have already covered.
Okay.
Yeah. But the other parts we are not going to cover because it is already covering in all over the resources. Okay.
And the lab which you have shared, it is like dummy lab or what actually? It is in directly we have to use cloud, Azure cloud only, or there is something like play button is there and we have to click there and here.
No, there is a instruction. So if I can go for this one, AZ 104 GitHub Labs. See
Mm-hmm.
here, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting inside this, one by one, step by step guide is there. If you remember, I have discussed these things earlier. So
Yeah.
you will get
Mhm.
the instruction based labs. So see here, you need to go for the portal.azure.com, then search for the
Okay.
virtual
Okay.
machine. So these
Mm-hmm.
things you will get.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Got it.
Yes. Perfect. Now, see here. Now my IAS page is ready and you can see here IAS is written over here. Now, if I'm going on to my virtual machine, let me just go for the overview page and this is my public IP address. Let me search for my public IP address. Okay, let me just open it. So let me go for the networking part. Inside the networking, here we have the networking settings, network settings. And over here, I need to add inbound rules. Let's say any. To create that options. Wait. Okay. And working. No, this is not the one. It's a difficult for me. So let me just copy this. Copy this and paste it here. Okay, any. Allow any. Let me go down and then name. Allow any. Let's put it like this and then add it. Okay, security rule is done. Let me again search for it. Okay, let's wait. So this part is done. Now let me get inside the int pub. So if you can see here, you will get that index.html page and this is your index.html page. See here. Now, if you want, you can delete this. So you will get it over here. I don't know why this is not working. Let me just check the networking part only. So this RDP and allow all is allowed only. This is the only one. Okay, let me just work on this. what is happening right now over there, because we have allowed all the ports. So if I can go for the inbound, port source is any service, I don't need to worry about it, right? And here destination port also I have allowed each and everything. So still it is throwing that error. Now let me just do one thing. This is the one, let me delete it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, let's not waste our most of the time over here. Still it is giving me the error. So what I can do in meanwhile, whenever we are in the break, we'll work on it. Okay. Now, after that, if you want to add the index.html page over here, you can add that page as well. Okay. Now, for that, you need to delete both the files from here, permanently delete, and then you need to create index.html page over there. And in that index.html page, you need to add your comment. So, hey, I'm this person, and we are learning virtual machine. So, like that, you can just do that. Okay. So this part I will give you again after some time, because I need to figure it out how what is happening over here. But now let's go for the next part. So over here you can get that availability and scale. Now if I'm going for the size of it, so if I'm getting inside the size of it, here I can go for the vertical scaling. So for the virtual machine, horizontal scaling is not allowed. So here for the scaling part, we have two options. One is a vertical scaling and another one is a horizontal scaling. Now vertical scaling means what? You can increase the size of it, and this is always manual. There is no auto scaling option. So whenever we are doing the manual one, then you can increase or decrease the size of it. For example, this is a 8 GB RAM. Then you can go for 4 GB if no one is using, or you can go for 16 GB if there is a requirement. Now, whenever you are doing this, this is not the on the go. It means to do this, you need to stop that virtual machine, you need to resize that virtual machine, and then you need to start it. So there is a downtime for few minutes, okay, while you are doing that virtual machine scaling. So that is what the vertical scaling. But horizontal scaling means what? To handle the traffic. So let's say this is a 4 GB RAM. Now, to handle the traffic, we need to add one more instance parallelly in it. So this is also 4 GB RAM. Again, if the traffic increases more and more, then there is a 4 GB RAM, one more. So this is what? This is out and this is in. And this is scaling down and this is scaling up. So this is scale up, scale down, and this is scale in, scale out. So out means we are increasing the number of instances. In means we are decreasing the number of instances. Okay. Now, as this is not available over here, so for that we need to create the virtual machine scale
I'm
set.
sorry, actually,
Mhm.
for me, this is thing is stuck or for everyone?
Which one?
This MS Paint is there in the C.
We are on to that one note only on the
Okay,
whiteboard,
okay, all right.
right? We are just discussing what is mean by the scaling in and out. All right. Now,
Ma'am, indirectly, like up and down within the server, right? Within the virtual machine, right?
mhm.
And how it we consider like is in out like kind of adding another virtual server.
Yes, another virtual servers to
Uh,
help that traffic.
okay, balancing based on their
Yes.
requirement, load balancing to automatically increase the virtual server.
Increase and decrease.
Decrease. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And here we have the auto scaling.
Auto scaling. Yes, yes.
So for the auto scaling as well, you need to add your rules.
Yes.
In which condition you want to increase and in which condition you want to decrease, right? So
Yes.
that is what the auto scaling. Here, manual scaling is only possible, and here there is a downtime.
No.
Here, whenever there is a auto scaling, there is a no downtime because still you are accessing the primary virtual machine, and whenever the second virtual machine is ready, load balancers will divide the traffic. So you don't need to worry about it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now how to create the VMSs? So you can go for VMSs from here. So this is my virtual machine scale set. Now
Ma'am,
say
sorry to interrupt you.
yes,
One
yes.
doubt.
Mhm.
For like horizontal scaling, you were saying, for example, there is one VM in which we are running any web server. So if traffic gets increases, we have multiple VM which will take a load of it and it will divide, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what is a horizontal means in the VM itself, we can increase the RAM, disk, or
No, no, no,
CPU.
no, no. Vertical scaling means you are increasing and decreasing the size of it. So for example, this one. So if I'm getting inside the virtual machine,
Mhm.
uh, where is that VM? This one, right? Inside that virtual machine, this is my size.
Yeah.
So if I want to change that size, then what I need to do, I need to get inside my overview. I need to
Mhm.
stop my virtual machine first.
Okay.
Now, once I
Okay.
stop my virtual machine, I need to again go to my size and then I can choose any different size. Let's say this is now 2 vCPU and 8 GB. I can go for 4 vCPU and 16 GB. So first of all, I need to wait for this top virtual machine.
Got it.
So
Got
this
it.
is size increasing and decreasing. Scale up and
Mhm.
down is vertical. And how
Okay.
you are saying that instances we are adding one more virtual machine is a horizontal scaling.
Understood now. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's wait for a while. Now it is stopping. So let's wait. Okay, done. And then let's resize it. Now, once you resize it, you can go for start virtual machine again. Okay. Now, let me just go for till that time. Let me go for the overview page.
Ma'am, anyway, you are saying a manual. This is a manual intervention, right? So, if
Yes.
after that is the application restart required? Is a downtime required for this? Anyway,
No,
we are
no,
increasing.
no, 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 no. Once you start the virtual machine, you will get your all the applications up and running.
Okay. Anyway, we are stopping that. Anyway, we are restarting that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why whenever we are changing the size, you need to stop and start. So that is what the downtime we require.
Yeah. Anyway, another FT mode, another one is there. That is the running state. That we are doing a patching or something in this virtual server.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So see here, now my virtual machine is resized. Let me just refresh my page. And see here, there is an option for start. So once you start, your virtual machine is having that size of 4 GB, 16 GB and 4 vCPU. Okay. So we need to start that virtual machine. All right. Now let me just go for VMSS again. And here we need to create that virtual machine scale set. So we are not going to deep dive onto the VMSS because you just need to understand what is the actual requirement of VMSS. Okay, so I will keep that naming convention as VMSS hyphen day 2 like that. And then again I'll go for West US. Now why I'm selecting the West US always? Because my virtual network is already there. So if I'm creating all the virtual machines or VMSs, I can keep everything in my same virtual network. So that's why I'm just choosing the same region because networking is a region based. So after that, here, orchestration mode, what you need? Is it a flexible one or uniform one? Uniform one means what? Optimized for large scale stateless workload, and flexible means what? Achieve high availability at scale with identical or multiple virtual machine types. Right? Means what? Whenever we are talking about the flexibility, then you can add multiple virtual machines or you can add only the identical virtual machines. So here you have the option to attach the virtual machines from the outside as well to handle the traffic. But if you can go for the uniform, then Microsoft only handles it. Microsoft only increase and decrease the size of it, and there is a uniformity in between the scaling, right? Now I can go for the standard one, manually update the capacity. That is okay for me. Now, instance count, how much you want instance count maximum? If I'm saying that 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, you can just put it as it is, 5, let's say. And Windows operating system, which Windows operating system I need to choose? Let's say I'm choosing this Windows operating system, right? Image. And then you can select the size of it. Now let's say I need to select the size of it. Sizes are not available right now. Okay, quota issue. All right, I need to increase the quota. All right, that is also the one of the issue here. Yes, 10 vCPUs are needed for this. Let me just do one thing, make it as 2. Okay, now it is a good point that we need to consider. Okay, so whenever we are creating any resources, there is a quota in your subscription. Now, whatever the vCPUs are there, right? So, for example, if you remember, I have created my virtual machine with 4 vCPU. So, per region, initially, Microsoft gives you 10 vCPUs per region. So if I'm choosing West US region right now, then I can create multiple VMs. But let's suppose I have created each virtual machine of 2 vCPU. It means I can create 5 VMs in that region. 2 vCPU, 2 vCPU and 2 vCPU like that. Now, as I have created already one virtual machine with 4 vCPUs, now 6 vCPUs are remaining. So that's why it is saying that if you are creating 2 vCPU, if I'm going for 3, then also it is allowed because 6 vCPUs are already there. It means 3 into 2 is 6 vCPU. If I'm increasing it to 5 or 4, then it is saying that no, you need the 10 vCPUs and we only have the 6 vCPUs. So that's why you need to understand these concepts as well. Now I will show you that option where you will get that option. So let me just put it as Azure user, right? And over here, let me just add. Okay, so once we are done with this, licensing, here Spot, if you want to add the Spot instances for it, you can go for it. Disk part, then we have the networking part, and you can see that network interface we need. See here, we are already having this virtual network, so I'm just choosing that only, right? So see here, if you want to create just a VMSS, you can go for it. So if you are putting it as none, then manually you need to add the load balancer and you need to keep your VMSS in the backend of the load balancer. But in the case, if you want to tell Microsoft, hey, please create load balancer and whatever you want, just do that. I don't want to take care of it. So you can create a load balancer from here itself. Once you click on this, Microsoft will create a load balancer. Microsoft will attach your VMSS to that. Microsoft will create all rules and everything for you. So you don't need to worry about it. Okay. So we don't have the existing load balancer. From here, you need to create one, right? Now, after that, I'm not going to create anything right now. And then here we have the management, right? After that, here we have the health probe. Then we have the advanced option. Now see here, health probe, resilient virtual machine creation, resiliency in the VM deletion, all the options are there. And the best part of Microsoft is they have given all the documentation for it. Everything. So you don't need to worry about it. You just need to click on this, right? After that, here we have the advance and then we have the review and create. So see here, enable scaling beyond 100 instances. If you want to go beyond 100 instances, you can go for it, right? So right now I don't want, I can go for the review and create. Simple review and create. Now, whenever you are reviewing and creating it, I will just show you the option where we are having that size, horizontal scaling, right? Right now we have only vertical scaling in our virtual machine, but we also have the horizontal scaling in our VMSS. All right, now let's talk about the architecture point of view. When to choose what? So when you will go for the virtual machine, so let's say there is a migration, or let's say you want to get the complete control on your infra, then you can go for the virtual machine. But whenever we are creating the virtual machine, we need to install the web servers on it. We need to manage that networking part. And then to access the web server, I need to choose my public IP address, right? So these are the things are there. But let's say if you want to create the customized virtual machine, you can go for the virtual machine option. Now, there is a issue, or I can say that there is a limitation. So Microsoft will give you multiple options. So out of that option, there is no drawback or there is no advantage, or we are creating the next resource to resolve the issues with the virtual machine. No. So there is a criteria. So virtual machine have these options, VMSs have these options, web application have these options. So whatever is useful for you or as per your requirement, whatever you want, you can choose it, right? So this is my virtual machine. When I can go for the virtual machine? For the migration purpose. If I want to get the more control on my virtual machine, if I wanted to create the customized image for it, then I can go for the virtual machine. But there is a what I can say limitation, that I can't go scaling point. Auto scaling is not available. So if you want the scaling option, horizontal scaling, you can go for VMSS, right? Virtual machine scale set. And pricing wise, these are lesser costly, right? Because here you need to maintain multiple things, you need to manage multiple things, so Microsoft will not charge on that part. Okay, so now another thing, we have the web application. Now whenever I'm talking about the web application, this is more towards the developers. So if I'm the developer, I don't want to spend my time and my too much work on these things, installing the web browsers, installing the if I'm working with the .NET, then installing the .NET SDKs, installing the dependencies, packages, this and that. I don't want to install. So if you want to perform these things on your virtual machine, you need to install each and everything. You need to install the VS code, you need to install the C sharp, you need to install the Git, you need to install .NET, whatever your application is there. You need to install the packages, dependencies, everything by yourself. But if I am a developer, I don't want to spend my time on that. I will just choose what is my runtime, that's it. And then I'll write my code and run it. Done. So if you want these things, then you can go for the web application. And web application also gives you other features. Now, what other features it will provide? That things we are going to discuss in our, after we are taking the break, we're going to discuss that part. Okay. So right now, let's focus on the VMSS. So this part is there. We have the VMSS, and see here, there is a scaling, and you can get that option for the scaling. See here, you need to configure. See this, you can configure by using the rules. So see here, what kind of rules you want. You can go for the scale based on the matrix. So you can add your rules here, right? So from here, you can add your rules. When you want to increase the instance count, if my virtual machine reaches more than 70% of the percent threshold. Now, what is mean by this? You everyone have your own laptops. You already have your mobile phones, right? Suppose, for example, mobile phones storage is 256 GB, right? And you're installing so many things on it, multiple software, multiple application, and there is a huge amount of data in your mobile phone. Then what will happen at one point of time? It will reach to that 90 percentage of a complete storage, right? And when it reaches to that, your mobile phone goes down. It might slow down sometimes, it might stuck sometimes, hang, right? So these things also happened in your machine. Same thing happened. So if the CPU utilization goes beyond 70%, see here, it already reaches to that 89%, something like that. So if it is going beyond that, it means my VM also gets slowed down. Now, have you ever experienced that things whenever you are accessing some application and it is not working fine, it is slow down. Whenever you are clicking on some of the option, it is not working properly. So this is because of the utilization in the backend. The servers are handling the huge traffic on it, right? The utilization of the CPU is more. So that's why we need to add this rule, and then whenever the percent CPU goes more than 70%, increase my one instance, increase the count instance by one. You can add 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want. You can just add it, right? So this is what my scaling out. See here, scaling out. So whenever you are creating the scaling out, you need to create a scaling in rule as well. So if my traffic goes down by 30, then you can decrease the count by 1 as well. Because if there is one more instance, it means you need to pay twice. If there are 3 instances, you need to pay thrice, right? So it is all about the costing. So to do the cost optimization, you need to manage the scale in and scale out rules. Even you can add more conditions onto that. So if you want, let's suppose this is kind of a weekend sale and you know that that many instances we required for sure. You can increase the number of instances and then you can specify your start date and end date, right? Another thing, if you want to say that specific days, let's say Saturday, Sunday, this is a weekend sale, I have multiple users. So I can add that particular Saturday and Sunday and I can specify 10 count, 10 instances I want for sure. So like that, you can add a multiple rules over here and you can manage your scaling part. So this is what the auto scaling.
Ma'am,
Okay.
this is the configuration one when we are doing
Yes.
the configuration. But
Yes.
both option will work on same time because of we are based on the first option, we are based on the that CPU utilization we are giving. But even second profile one also we are based on the traffic like Sunday, Monday. But that time the above option also it's working on that time or only one can.
Okay. So the good question, right? So how it will work? So for the Saturday, Sunday, it will go for this part.
Okay.
So whatever your requirement is there for the specific instance count, it will go like this. So I'm saying that here I need 10 instances. So it will not go like this, right? Over here
Yes.
as well, you need to create 10 instances maximum.
Hmm.
So for Saturday, Sunday, it will go with this. It
Okay.
will not follow this one,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's right.
right? On to that part as well, if you are enabling one more condition
Hmm.
by using that specific start date and end date, and you're saying that no, 10 instances I want for this particular time period,
Hmm.
then it will go for 10 instances.
Hmm.
After that, for the Saturday, Sunday, it will go for this one, and remaining days, it will follow this rule.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is the default rule.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. So let me just discard it because I'm not going to create anything. Here we have the size. This is a vertical scaling. Here we don't have any rules. You need to do it manually, right? So you can choose it, right? So this is what the VMSS. Now,
Here also stop requirement.
yes, for virtual machine, vertical scaling required the start and stop always.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me also give you the another pointer, which is this one. Let me get inside the virtual machine, and this is my VM. And here you can see that one option is there, which is a capture. So let's suppose in my virtual machine, I have made multiple things. I install the .NET, I install VS Code, I install, let's say, SQL Server as well. And that virtual machine, I need to create multiple other virtual machines from that, right? Because suppose someone is asking me, one day someone asked me to create Azure AD Connect on the virtual machine and add some users for it. Okay. And with that, I need to create 10 VMs. So what is my first thought? Let's do it manually. But if it is one or two virtual machine, then it is okay to go for manual. But if it is more than that, 10 virtual machines or 20 virtual machines and more than that virtual machine, suppose your organization. So whenever you join any organization, they will give you some setup, right? Laptop. And in that, if they want to add some of the application, inbuilt application, you already having that applications, right? They are not doing it manually. Some of the organizations are still doing it or manually. But if they want to give you the complete infra, ready-made infra, then they need to create the image for it. So if this is my working virtual machine and I want to create the image from it, then I can create an image by using the capture mode. Right? See here. Share it to gallery of virtual machine image version. Right? After that, here you need to add the target Azure gallery. You need to create one and then you need to add the target image gallery. And then you can add your version, everything over here. Right? I'm not going to create anything because it is kind of another certification. So I'm just giving you the heads up. But from here, if you can search for image gallery, see here, Azure Compute Image Gallery, Shared Image Gallery. I want the shared image gallery. Yes, see here. This is one of the shared image gallery, but I guess now they have made the changes onto this one only. Azure Compute Image Gallery. And whenever you are adding it into the compute image gallery or the shared image gallery, you will get that images whenever you are creating the VMs. So let's suppose I am creating the virtual machine. And over here, whenever you are searching for the C images, you will get that option. If you have already created the virtual machine, you will get that options over here. Okay. So this is what one of the options. See here, there is a shared images. So if you are putting your virtual machine into the shared image gallery, you will get the option over here. Sometimes there is a community image. So let's say these are the community images. For example, graph DB is there or anything. So if you want to choose that community, you can choose that as well. Direct shared image gallery is still in the preview. So you don't need to worry about it. Preview means Microsoft is working on it right now. So these are the options we have regarding with the virtual machine. Any doubts till that? What is mean by the virtual machine and what is the difference between VMSS? Yes? Yes, team? Any questions till now?
Yes, ma'am. Like you said in the storage session, you
Hmm?
said need to stop the services. for the VM, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the running premises, they are not allowing to stop the services
Yes.
because that is a production server.
Yes.
Then in VMware, there was an option to enable hot plugins. In the running VM, we can able to change the RAM and storage as well. In the Azure, there was an option to do this.
No, for the virtual machine, we don't have the option to do this. I guess we also have an option for VMware. So you need to get that option in Azure Virtual VMware Solutions. Okay, see here, these are the options are there, but not in the virtual machine.
Okay.
It's a simple, your laptop. You can just say that things. Okay.
Okay, got it. So
Oh,
this is not a like a server or on-premises
yes. On
VMware.
ongoing server, you can't change anything. You need to stop it.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
But that is
Mhm.
not considered by production teams, right?
Yes, that is not
Then
considered
if
by production team. So that's why we are having the VMSS then. If you want to increase the instance count, you can't ongoing production, you can't change your RAMs. You need to stop that and then you need to change it. Actually,
correct.
in the real time, you need more time than the virtual machine. Virtual machine will take only 1 or 2 minutes to change it, right?
Okay, got it.
All right, great. So we are done here. Now it's a 11:07. So let's take a quick break. And after that, we'll go for the web application and other options because today we need to cover the function app, logic app, web application, then the container instances as well, container apps, and the little bit idea on the AKS. Okay. So let's take a break till what we can say. Hmm, 11:30. Will that work?
Can you make 40? Because I'm on the way to reach office.
Oh,
Sorry for that.
all right. 11:40. Will that work, team? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Let's go for the break. And
Thank you.
I'll do one thing. Just remind me to again start that recording. I'm going to pause it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So let's get started. Okay. So before we are starting that next part of web application, if you remember, we are getting the issue with that virtual machine IAS page. So it is just regarding with that networking part. When, if you remember, we have updated the networking inbound rule. After that, it started working. Okay, so I have not done any other things. So this is my internet information service, which is a IAS. So if you want to create the web server on your Windows virtual machine, you need to install IIS. If you want to create the web server on your Linux virtual machine, then you need to install Apache or Nginx. Okay, so these are the web servers on it. Now, another thing, this is my virtual machine. And over here, let me search for my file manager. Let me get inside my file manager. And this is my PC, this PC and C drive. You can see that there is a int pub. So inside the int pub, there is a www root folder and these are the files. So whatever the web server is there in the backend, there is a index.html page, right? So these are the HTML page. So see here, IIS start HTML page is there, right? Now what I need to do, I need to select both of them. Let me just do one thing. Select it and delete it. delete, and this one as well I need to delete, right? Now once you delete it, you can right click and create a new file. You can create at the first start text file, because you need to add some documentation, or you need to add some statement on it. I can put the naming convention as index, right? Right now this is a text document, so I will go over here. Hello everyone, we are learning uh, compute services. Okay, so if I do that and just save it, let me just go over here and save this. Okay, done. Let me close this window, and now here you can see that view is there and another options are there. Let me just go for view option, and somewhere we have that option to click on that extension. Increase that. I want to see that extensions, content list, show, yeah, file name extension, right? Now over here, just click, and instead of txt, just put html, okay? And then hit on enter. Yes, I want to make the changes. Now go over here and again refresh the page. See here, you can see that hello everyone, we are learning compute services. So like that, you also need to try it out in your assignments. Okay, so this part is done for our virtual machine and VMSs. Now let's go for the web application. Now, whenever I'm searching for the web application, I'm getting the option for app services. There is no such option for the web application directly. There is this option for the function app, logic app and all, but no such option like a web app. So why? Because web application is a part of your app service plan. Now let's discuss about it. Now when to choose web application, that part we have already discussed. So if you are a developer and you need the flexibility with all the features, you need to go for the web application itself, right? So this is a developer specific. Now, with that, we are getting multiple features. Now, what are that features? So one by one, we will list out that feature. So one feature is that which is a runtime stack. So we are getting runtime stack. Runtime means what? Programming language. There is a multiple list, huge list of the runtime stack. You need to choose one of that, right? And you can start working on it. Now, Microsoft says that this is a serverless. Microsoft says that this is serverless. Why this is a serverless? Because Microsoft is taking care of the backend servers. We can't create anything without a backend server. We for sure required the backend server where you can write your code, where you can run your code, where you can build your code, right? So definitely we required the server, but Microsoft is taking care of your servers. So this is not actually serverless. There are servers and Microsoft is taking care of it. But what Microsoft is taking care of it? Management, patching, updation, taking a backups, checking for the business continuity and disaster recovery. All these things Microsoft will take care. But now let's say I want to create a web application, and let's say I need only 0.5 GB RAM, right? My application needs only 0.75 GB RAM, or let's say 0.5 GB RAM, right? This is my requirement. Now let's say Microsoft is saying that Microsoft will take care of it, and Microsoft created 16 GB RAM. Will that work? Because at the end of the day, I need to pay for this one. So this is not the best practice that Microsoft will choose whatever they want, right? So though Microsoft is taking care of it, but as I am paying for that service, so I need the option to select my backend server. And whenever you are selecting your backend server, this is called as app service plan. This is called as an app service plan. So this backend server is called as an app service plan, and you need to create that. Now, what are the factors are there for the app service plan and what is the advantage of it, right? So whenever you are choosing the app service plan, let's say you are saying that this is a 1.75 GB RAM, right? After that, this is having Windows operating system. Another thing, this is present in East US region, right? So these are the factors are pretty much important whenever you are creating the app service plan. What is the size or SKU of your app service plan? After that, which operating system you are selecting and which region you are selecting. Now, why? Because if you remember in the virtual machine, you can create a virtual machine and then you can inside that virtual machine, you can create a multiple applications, right? But over here, if you are creating the one app service, you can create independent different web applications, individual web application. So the difference is here inside the virtual machine, you can create .NET application, you can create Node.js application, you can create a React application, but those are related to the same resource. But here app service plan is the different resource and then web application is a different resource. So you can create multiple web applications that can use the backend server as an app service plan. So for example, my web application 1 needs 0.75 GB RAM. 1 GB RAM is still remaining. So it will say that 0.5 GB RAM for this web application 3. Also, you can host your function apps on the same app service plan, right? Like this. So this is kind of a flexibility we are getting by using the app service plan. But the condition is only one. Whatever the web application you are selecting, the runtime is supported by Windows operating system. So if I'm selecting the Windows operating system, I can't create Ruby over here. I can't create Ruby over here. This is not allowed because Linux operating system required for Ruby programming stack, right? After that, if I'm selecting the .NET, .NET can be handled by Linux operating system or Windows operating system. That is okay. ASP.NET can only handle by Windows operating system. So whatever runtime you are selecting, make sure about that you are selecting, it is supported by Windows operating system. If no, then you need to create another app service plan. It is not like that you can't create anything. It just a thing is you need to create a different service plan, not this service plan, right? And another thing, you need to create a same web application within the same region. So if these two things matched, then you can create a multiple web application by hosting by same server. So this is what server, right? This is a backend server. Now this is one of the, I can say that feature. Another scenario, in our production environment, this is my app service plan, right? And this is my web application one, right? Now that web application has multiple slots. That web application has multiple slot 1, this is slot 2, like that. Now why we required the slots? So for example, there is a weekend sale or let's say you are hosting that e-shop e-commerce website. For example, let's say Flipkart application, right? So suppose you are selecting the Flipkart application, right? And this is your web application and it is running on your production web application, means your this web application. So this is nothing but your production environment and this is your Flipkart. Now, what happened next? Suppose developer wants to add some category or developer wants to throw some what we can say weekend sale. Then there is a change in the program, right? We need to make the changes inside the program. Now, can we do that changes onto the production environment directly? The answer is yes, but whenever we are doing it, we need to stop that production environment. We need to make the changes on it. We need to build it, test it, check it, each and everything, and then we need to start it. So this is called as a downtime. And in our e-commerce website, we can't afford this downtime because if it is there, users will go for the other competitors, right? So as per our requirement, we can't go for the downtime. So we need the option where we can add the features, but it will not affect onto the production environment. So that's why we are creating the slot. So this is my slot. I can say that this is a new feature. So with that slot one, you will get same kind of experience as a web application where you will get the different URL for the slot one and you will get the complete environment for slot one like a web application where the developers will work on the code, they will change the code and they will test the code. Now, once they test the code, they can just do swapping. And swapping will not require any kind of a downtime. It just kind of a things. Right now, we are having the men's fashion, women's fashion. Developer wants to add kids fashion. And right now, I'm accessing that Flipkart application. I'm getting that women's and men's category only. But whenever I'm refreshing my page, I will get the new category because in the backend swapping has done. So it is an ongoing running application. We can swap our code and then user will get a new code or they will get the new feature in it. Right? So we are discarding this particular downtime because of the slots. So for that, you can create a multiple slot. But these slots are nothing but a web applications only, which are connected to the main production web application. So they also need some server in the backend. So whenever you are creating the web application in one of the app service plan and you are adding the slots, that slots are also taking the servers from the app service plan itself. So these are the two scenarios. Either you can create a multiple web applications hosted by app service plan, or either you can create a web application with multiple slot hosted by app service plan. Okay. So these two options are there. Now, slot is also our feature. So I can say that runtime is one of the feature. I can put it over here again. Features, we have a runtime. Another one, slot, right? Now, once we are creating the slot, there is one more option which is called as a traffic manager. Why it is called as a traffic manager? Because that in the traffic manager, there are 6 routing methods. Out of that 6 routing method, web application is already having one as a feature of wattage rule. Wattage rule in the sense what? It is kind of a load balancing. So here we have the traffic manager and wattage. Right now, all the traffic, 100% traffic going towards the production environment. But let's say as a developer, I have already added one new feature, kids feature. I checked, I tested, I built it, everything looks good. But I want to also test it from the user's perspective because users are only using it, right? So let's say 95% traffic goes towards this, but only 5% traffic, can you divert it towards this slot? Before I'm doing the swapping, I need to check whether it is working fine with the user perspective or not. So for that, if you want to divert the 5% traffic over here, then you can go for the traffic manager. In another case, if you want to implement the traffic manager, you need to create a multiple web applications. You need to create a separate service, which is a traffic manager. Then you need to attach the backend servers for it. But web application is having the feature of traffic manager. That's why you don't need to create a traffic manager. You don't need to do any other things. It is inbuilt. So you just need to specify how much traffic you want to give it to the production environment and how much traffic you want to send it to the slot. So this is another feature which is called as a traffic manager. Okay. So initial stage, these are the features and the app service plan. Is this, are you able to follow with me? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, great. So let's start with the web application now. So to create the web application, I need to get inside the app service. Now, there are two separations. So one is in a one go itself. In this page itself, we are creating two services. One service is app service plan. Second service is web application. To bifurcate this, resource group belongs to both the services, right? Web application is for your web application name, right? See here, if I'm choosing the web application name as architect, let me just do this, architect day 2, something like that. So it has to be globally unique identifier because it is creating that DNS name. So you can access it from anywhere, right? So that's why it should be unique. So if you are putting some particular number, if it is not unique, then Microsoft will attach some random number for it to make this unique. And then this is the .azurewebsite.net. This is fixed. Now, once you are done with this, here we have two options. One is a code, one is a container. Now, if you can see here, there is a database and here we have the deployment. So if I can choose the container, you can see that instead of the deployment, there is a container now, right? So if you have your images, no need to worry. We are talking about this container part after some time, okay? So till that time, let's put these things on a hold. But whenever we are working with the container, if you want the web application features for the container, you can choose this option, right? Now, this is the feature that we are going to talk, right? Runtime stacks. You can see here there are multiple runtime stacks. So if I'm choosing .NET 10, then it is giving me that options because both the operating system can support this. But if I'm choosing ASP.NET 4.8, then only Windows operating system can support it. So Microsoft take this decision, right? If it is both the operating system can support it, then you have a choice to select one of that. Now let's say if I'm going for the apps ASP.NET 4.8, that runtime stack, the name of the web application is part of your web application. But the operating system that we are selecting, region that we are selecting, let's go for the region as a central US, right? Any region. After that, this part, app service name, and then the size pricing plan is a part of. From here onwards, from the operating system here onwards, these parts are app service plan. Okay. So why I am saying that multiple times? Because whenever we are creating it from the scripting language, you need to understand that you need to first create the app service plan and then you need to create a web application. There you can't create both the things in a one go, right? So that's why. Now we are selecting the central US. Now for the naming convention, I'm okay with this name, or else I can just put it as ASP123 and okay. Now here we have the pricing plan, which actually gives you the hardware view and feature view, right? So here you will get to know about that there are multiple options available. Okay. Now what are that options available? So those options of ASP. So here we have a 5 different pricing plans. One first pricing plan is a free tier account, so you don't need to pay anything for it, but you will get some 60 minutes 60 minutes per day. So if you want to just test one of the web application for some time and then just delete it, then you can go for the free tier account, right? So for me as well, I can go for the free tier account, but after that there is no other features available, no hardware features, no extra features available. Another thing, we have the shared. Now what is mean by shared? Suppose I'm the one who is using app service plan in West US region, and I'm using Windows operating system, and for the sizing I'm selecting the shared operating system, right? I will get only 240 minutes per day for a use. Now who is the one who is using that another remaining number of hours and minutes per day? So this is a shared one. So if I'm selecting the app service plan in the shared plan, and suppose Bharat or Hassan or anyone has selected from the their account the same operating system, right? Windows operating system shared plan within a same West US region. It means we all are sharing the same app service plan. So it is throughout globally available. So you are using that shared. Again, the pricing is very low. But let's say here also you will not get so many features, hardware and software features. So that's why we will go for standard tier. So standard tier will fulfill my most of the requirements. So it will give me the slot option, it will give me the scaling option, auto scaling option as well present over there, and many more are there, right? So this will fulfill my most of the requirement, basic requirement. But if you want, so for example, for the standard tier, we can go up to 10 instances. For the horizontal scaling, we can go up to 10 instances. But if you want to go beyond that limit, let's say you want to go for 30 instances and all, you can go for the premium account, right? You can go up to premium account. But here you can go up to 30 instances, max to max 30 instances. But let's say you want to go beyond that limit, then you can go for isolated tier, and which is the most costlier service. And the name implies that isolated means it is having the new feature, or I can say that it is having some more capability. So from here, isolated tier, you can go up to 100 number of instances. If you want to increase the scaling by 100, you can go from here, from the isolated tier. Another thing, if you can observe, whenever we are working with the virtual machine, we have added the rules inbound and outbound, right? So suppose this is my web application. So this, who wants to access it, that is called inbound. And if suppose my web application wants to access something, that is called outbound, right? So here in the isolated tier, you can restrict this part. Who can access the web application? Let's suppose I want to give the permission only the virtual machines which are present in the virtual network. Let's say in my organization, everyone is working on the virtual machines. And for that virtual machines, there is an application which is a web application. Now they can only access from that particular network only. So that is what the inbound traffic. We are controlling the inbound traffic, and that is possible only from the isolated tier. Okay, this is the one. I'm not talking about this part, right? Outbound traffic, no. Only you can manage the inbound traffic, and that's why the pricing is very high. So if I'm going over here, you can see the difference. See? So here we have that vCPU is like your ACUs. After that, here we have the memories. Then we have the remote storage. So here we don't need to add extra storage for the logging purpose, backup purpose and all. It is already inbuilt and you don't need to worry about it. Scaling instance. So if you are going for the basic tier, you can go for 3 instances, but this is a manual one. And see here, premium tier, you can go up to 30 instances, right? Over here, basic shared, we have the basic one, basic two, right? And here we have the standard tier. So I can go for standard tier. Basically, I'm getting the 50 GB storage for the backup purpose and all. 1.75 is my RAM, right? And 1 vCPU is sufficient. And this is a faster. If you can create the same kind of size for the virtual machine, your virtual machine will not start only, because that virtual machine is having that bulkiness or the guest OS and everything. But over here, Microsoft is handling it, each and everything. So that's why this less number of size will also work fine for you. And this is the pricing for it per month. Okay. And this is the pricing per hour. Now, if I'm going for the features, you can get that feature. See here, auto scaling. So here, basic tier, manual auto scaling is only present. Free tier, there is no auto scaling or any other things. Here, premium, we have the rules. Elastic means it will take the decision to increase and decrease the elasticity, right? But if I'm going for the standard tier, see here, I can go from rules and over here, daily backup. See, Microsoft is taking daily backup 12 times a day. So it is a huge one. It means Microsoft is taking care of your uh, business continuity and disaster recovery. After that, here we have the staging slots. So that slots, you can add 5 slots. If you are choosing that standard one, you can create 5 slots, right? So I'll go for my standard S1 tier, which is sufficient for me. After the database, if you already have your database, which is a SQL database, so basically the working is like this. This is your web application, right? So this will be your front end, any application. So your data, it means your, let's take example again with the Flipkart application, because every day we are using some same kind of applications, online shopping websites. The data which is present in the keys and values pair. For example, product, name of the product value, number of that product count. After that, product price, you will get the price. So this is what keys and values, right? And this is same for each and every product. So that kind of a data is coming from databases, right? And that images, audio file, video file, those are coming from the storage account, right? So this is the particular scenario. So this is my web application, this is my database and the storage account, and that storage account links are also getting connected with the database. Now, to do that, if you already have the database with your web application, you can just directly connect from here, SQL database, or what is your database, Cosmos DB, MySQL, Postgre and all. So right now I don't have any databases. Next thing, we have a deployment. Right now it is disabled, but if I'm enabling it, it means CI/CD. I can say that here feature. This is one of the feature where we have the support for CI and CD, which is a DevOps, right? So now whenever I'm saying that DevOps, right, it might be you are GitHub account. It might be your Azure DevOps, right? It might be your code is present in the Bitbucket, right? So here, if you enable from here, you will get only one option, which is a GitHub account. So if you have your organization, if you have your repository, if you have your branch, you can just enable that and then create the connectivity and you can call that code, right? So right now I'm not having that with me. So I'm just keeping it as it is. And from here, you will get only one option. But once you disable it and once you get inside your web application, you will get more options. So we'll explore that options. Okay. After that networking, now you can see here there is a networking option. Now you can say that, okay, we have selected the standard one. Still there is a networking option. How? Because here, as I mentioned, for the web application, there is an inbound access and there is an outbound access. Inbound access you can restrict by using the isolated tier. But outbound access, if, see here, this is for the outbound traffic. If Microsoft wants to or web application wants to access some virtual network, some of the data is present over there in the virtual machine inside the virtual network, and I want to access that data, then you can enable that virtual network integration. So from here, you can just select your whatever the virtual networks are present within that same region, and then you can select it, right? Another thing, we have the monitoring and secure. Monitor secure, you will get the option of application insights. Now this is a third resource. So if you enable this application insight, you can monitor your multiple web applications, multiple function apps, multiple API managements, as well as your on-premises applications. Application Insight will not monitor virtual machines, VMSs, or containers or the logic apps. It is only meant for your web application, function app, on-premises application, and API management. But multiple, you can just add it over here. Okay. So once you create that, so I can cancel it as well because right now I don't want it. Whenever we are doing the monitoring part, that time I will enable it. And then let's go for review and create. Done. Now, what I can do next, I will search for Amazon application. This one, let me just go for, okay, this is the code. View page source. See here, whenever you are going on any application, you will get that right click and then you will get the view page source. So this is a code. So you can copy that code. I need it in our next part. I will give you the where we need to do. Okay. Now, whenever we are creating the web application, see here, it is first of all creating the app service plan. After that, it will create a web application for me. Now, once we are having the web application, I haven't installed any web server, right? Like a virtual machine. So here there is a URL, default domain. Either you can copy this and paste it, or either you can go for browse. See here, this is a default page. You don't need to install any other things, right? ASP.NET code, you just copy that your ASP.NET code and paste it over here, or you can just drag it from your DevOps tools and paste it over here. That is okay, right? So in the backend, somewhere that index.html page is written for this, right? HTML page is there. Now, let's go for the deployment. So first of all, let's go for the deployment center. As I said, there are multiple options, not only the GitHub, but there are multiple options. See here, GitHub, Bitbucket, local Git, Azure repos. Then you can also do the manual deployment. It is push. Push means external Git or publish files don't have the option to do CI. Now I will give you the quick overview of CI, CD, and DevOps. So DevOps is something like process, or I can say that if I want to do the automations. Now, what you will do if you are a developer, you will change the code. Okay, if you want to make the changes into the code, you will change the code, then you will build it, test it, run it, then deploy it, and then publish it. Okay, so if your target environment is your web application, right? So web application is your target. So every time you need to do the same thing, right? Every time you need to make the changes, you need to build it, you need to test it, you need to run it, you need to deploy it, you need to publish it. So these are the manual tasks for you. So instead of that, as a developer, okay, I will only change the code. That's it, done. And then by using the DevOps tools, either you can go for the Bitbucket, either you can go for the what we can say Jenkins, either you can go for the GitHub, you can go for the Azure DevOps or AWS DevOps or Google DevOps or anything. They all are working on the same principle. So there is a pipeline. So in DevOps, we have pipeline. One is a CI. CI means build and test, where we are doing building and testing. Okay. Now, whenever you are changing anything onto your code, that triggers this CI pipeline. So one, we required the input, which is called as a repo, where we are changing the code. And another thing, we required a trigger, right? So once it will get triggered, it will start the building and testing. So automatically, this pipeline will start building and testing your code. If there is any kind of issue, if you have done mistakes, it will throw you the error for it. Okay. If everything goes good, then it will start after CI pipeline, it will start the CD pipeline, which is the deployment, right? Which is having the deployment strategy. Now, whatever code bundle is there, whatever the code bundle is there after building and testing, that part will publish it onto the target environment, right? That code will be going on to the target environment. So target environment can be any, your web application, your SQL servers, SQL databases, your function apps, your containers, your AKS, anything, right? So target environment is most of the servers, right? So this is what the part of your CI and CD. Now, when web application comes into the picture, web application comes into the picture at the target end, because target is here web application. Now, once the code is present in the repository in somewhere in the DevOps tool, that CI CD will be working over there, the deployment will be working over there, and then it is connected to this target environment. Now, what is the role of web application? Just connect with the tools and then run that code. That's it, done. Publish that code, right? So that is what the work behind it. So it is having the direct connectivity with the DevOps tool. Like virtual machine don't have the connectivity, VMSs don't have the connectivity, but web application is having the connectivity with CI and CD. Is this clear for the DevOps? Just a little bit understanding?
Uh, Ma'am, having one doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a .NET developer, so every time I'm doing the same process. Like I'm doing the code changes, running in a dev environment, a stage environment, and testing. If everything is good, then what we can do, we're raising the PR and we're building this what we can say bamboo plan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, want to know what exactly happening in that bamboo plan, like how it's working, those scenario, like means what exactly happening in that, like a building time or after building. So, like, what scenarios or not scenarios, like what's process is there happening?
Okay, bamboo, I don't have worked on it
Yeah,
till now.
ma'am. Can I explain? Because of
Yes, yes, yes,
I'm the
please.
production engineer.
Yes, please.
Once, yeah, actually, once we receive the code from the developer, actually, I work for the deployments and operation side. So maybe I think in the part of deployments, like every time, so we do the deployments every monthly release and everything. Maybe once you release the things like in Git or Nexus repo. So we get the build and we'll start working through CI/CD like Jenkins. Once like LT, SIT side testing done, so we have a prod and non-prod different sessions are there.
Yes.
So once we do that, so from LIT, SIT, and LT environments, whatever you done the testing and LT and SIT, so
Hmm.
we will receive the code, non-prod system, and we do the testing like normal our connectivities, everything in the non-prod system, and directly we will on the production night we will do the production deployment through CI/CD. So once you done the promotion to your level to non-prod system, so we will done our lower environment testing, and then we will promote the non-prod to production system, and the night of the production we will directly do the deployments and do the based on the application, like I'm working actually TIPCO, so that in TIPCO administration we will do the zero outage section like rolling restart, and we will do one by one. So everything, like once we done the deployment sanity everything done, so we will go ahead to the deployments and the DVT part, internal and external DVT, so that code will live. So after our confirmation, this happened like once we developer to production to that entire cycle of the DevOps system actually. We work that actually.
So like CI means it's build.
Yeah,
Build
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 and
build.
means
test.
Yeah. Where
yeah.
where you
So
develop and tested everything, it's ready, you upload into the Git repository or Nexus repository, right? Once you're testing
yeah.
everything, so
Yes.
we
Yes.
will pick from the Nexus or Git repository, and then we will do the our deployments using from the as a brace repository of triggering points of
Hmm.
GitHub repository or Nexus repository.
So like again for us what we can say. So whenever we are like deploy code to dev and stage, it's automatically what we can say that build is happening. So do you have any settings for that
Yes,
automation?
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
automatically.
You need to create
Always
all the
we,
steps.
yeah, we have always step by step, and once we get the final confirmation from
Hmm.
the higher version, and we have a governance call. So in
Hmm.
that, so we get the tested, automatically tested, completed final one repository only, that will promote it into the our final repository that is
Yeah, but for a
successfully
prod,
tested.
but in our organization previously, like for production, they are doing manually all those things. We don't have any like what we can say this automatically deployment.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, just if
No,
possible,
no.
can you
Here
show us?
also, not even everywhere. I think even though even Kubernetes also they will automatically tested, but everywhere not using that because of na. So once we trigger na automatically, even Git also we have
Mhm.
a Git options is there now. So there now as of now, any like scenarios na, all companies, all organizations not using that direct trigger one anyway. So there is once you developer giving the trigger point na, so it
Hmm.
automatically not deploy into the production because of there is some safety rules and are there na. So that's why through production support only they will doing as of now. Somewhere companies they're doing automatically small patches, but
Yeah,
remaining
yes.
things all we go by like a, approval phase only. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Okay,
dev stage and
so what I can do, let me just go over here. And here we have the Azure DevOps. It is just little bit out of the track, but from here you can just search for DevOps. See here, there is Azure DevOps organization. You can go for the organization. At the first start, you need to create the organization completely. Now, this why DevOps comes into the picture to create the automations, right? And
hmm.
then you can just create the organization. Inside the organization, you can create multiple projects. So let me just get inside my org. So here, I need to get inside my default directory first. So this is my account. So if I'm starting with from the scratch, I need to go for this and then click on continue.
Yeah, like every time we are raising the request to our DevOps team, so we don't know their procedure, so how they are doing those
So
things.
this
Yeah.
is a procedure. So as an organization, what we need to do, even I was also a DevOps admin for that. So let me just do one thing. Let's create one. 5JYX. So most of the client and the users, we need to give the privileged permissions, least privileged permission. So what we are going to do, we are creating the organization. If I want to give the permission on the project level or on the organization level, so we are just creating the users. And after that, once we are creating the users, we need to divide it into the teams. After that, we need to give the permissions, whether you have the permission to create anything inside the DevOps portal or to delete something, to create a branches, to commit something. So whenever you are changing something, you are the team member, so you don't have the permission to make the changes onto the production environment. So for that, we are having multiple options. The approvals are also there. So whoever is taking care of the production environment, that person needs to approve the changes, right?
Yes, correct.
So
Yes.
see here, this is my organization. The first part we need to do is billing part. Otherwise, without a billing, you will not start anything. So let's
Okay.
suppose this is my billing. So your subscription will be there and this is my account. So let me just quickly check. Yes, it is there, right? So once you have the billing here, there we have the parallel jobs. Now this is required whenever multiple pipelines are working parallelly. To complete that, we need the agent. Now, why we need the agent? See here. So if you want to run your code in your local environment, suppose you are writing your code in the .NET, then you have to install some softwares on it, right? Otherwise, you can't test and build it. So similarly, here also, it is not just kind of a pipeline. There is an agent in the backend, right? So that agent is nothing but a server. And that server is already having all the prerequisite, your Visual Studio Code, C Sharp, whatever I'm saying, .NET 8, if we are using .NET 8, then it is having the .NET 8 on it, SDKs, everything. And then only it will start building and testing, right? And these agents managed by Microsoft. You can also add your self-hosted agent, but right now I'm not going to confuse anything because most of the participants are not aware about it, right? And now here you can see that from here we need to add the users. Even if you're a part of my portal, Azure portal, then also you will not get the visibility on this. Till that time, we need to add the user. Specifically, I need to add your user. I need to give you the permission from here, and then only you will get the access on it. Now, what kind of permissions I will provide you is a part of this permission part. So these are the security groups. So either you get the whole permission like a project collection administrator. So if you can go over here, I have a authority to change the things as well. See here, allow, deny, everything. Another thing here, if I want to specifically give you the some, I can say that customize permission, then I can create a group and I will give you the permissions for it, right? So this is about all about the organization setting. Now, if I can go for here and then I can create one project, which is a test project. And here you need to select which work item process you want to use. Let's say I'm using the Scrum one. Then I can create a project. By default, Microsoft is using that Git operating system. So what is the issue? It is already existed. Let me just check. Yes, it is already there. So let me just get inside this project, right? So this is my project. Here you will get all the repos. Now, if you don't have the repo, you can import that repository. So Microsoft has created a simple repository for it. So let me just give you that as well. eShop on web repo. Right? So this is the repository and this is working on the .NET project. So let me just do one thing, not this one. Let me just go for AZ400. And this is one, right? If you want to explore something from here, you can go for it. AZ400 DevOps, right? And over here, you will get all the things, how to create the users, how to do that, everything. See here, this is my eShop on web. So if I can click on this one, this is the website. I can just copy that and then inside the repo, I can import the repository. So you can import any repository here, Git, or if you want to work with the TFEC, right now I'm not using that. So I'll go for my import. And once you are done with the import, you can make the changes from here itself. So here we have the commits, files, pushes, branches, like our slots. If you want to work separately for particular features, you can create your branches and see here you will get all the codes, src folder, web folder, and then we have the program.cs file, right? So you can make the changes onto that code, right? After that, in the pipeline, you can create your CI pipeline, CD pipeline. So I can go for this CI and this is my repository. First of all, you need to select the input. Once you select the input, you can go for the starter pipeline. Those are the templates. So either you can go for the starter pipeline, either you can go for the existing Azure pipeline YAML file. All the files are already present over here. So I can say that main folder branch, and then here you can see that CI YAML pipeline. So you need to understand the YAML code and how to write that YAML codes, right? So see here, YAML code is already there and you just need to go for run. That's it. Is this clear? So this is what? This is a build and test. So for your code as well, you need to do that, or else you can use the templates. So which are present over here inside the pipeline. You can make a use of that as well. See here? These are the templates. And even whenever I'm going for the starter template itself, then if I can click on this one, or I can just choose this one next to that, I can go for the show assistant and here we have the multiple template options. So for example, I wanted to create at the end, once I'm done with the CI pipeline, I want to create something like a deployment. So I can say that app service plan deploy. See here, if I'm using this, I need to just add some data. And once I add the data, then I can just click on add. See here? So like that, you can work with your YAML file, make sure about that the indentations. So if this is wrong, your spaces, then it will throw you the error of validation and then you need to work on it. Okay. I hope this is clear. And at the end, we are having the target environment. So where you want to publish that code, see here, the web application. So whatever CI part is there, you are building and testing. So the publish part will be handled by this one. Now, once you set up this everything, what you need to do next? You just need to get inside your code. You just need to make the changes and push that code and that's it. Your building, testing, everything will be done by automations from the DevOps tools. Is this clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. To explore that, you can just go through that AZ400. You can go through the AZ400 GitHub Labs only. Okay.
Can you share the link one?
Yes, I'll give you that as well. As you are already working on it, see, so I will not give you so many things. just go for the labs
Hmm.
where we have that labs. Let me go back from here, right? And then perform that labs. That's it. You will get to know about it very well.
So ma'am, once build is done, so every time DevOps team is running that YAML file or just for only once time?
No, every time it will run, but you don't need to run it. It is automatically.
Okay, so like what happened? So I have created one project from this scratch, so that only one time they run this YAML file because there we are having that project name and all those repository address, everything. So, but after that, whenever we are sharing that build plan, so that one I want to know. Like after that, again they are running that YAML file or just that.
Yes, every time. If you are pushing any changes onto the code, they will start CI and CD,
Okay, means like.
because there are so many other things as well. You can check your code quality. There are
Hmm.
so many extensions, main bold, security vulnerabilities are there.
Yes.
Then you can also incorporate that functional testing, unit testing, pen testing, everything. So
And
that's why for the production environment it is required.
And again, for my as a .NET developer, like we are doing that Sonar Cube testing and unit testing is
Yes.
there, right?
Yes, Sonar Cube.
So, yeah, for this one again, we're having those automation or DevOps team doing like manually or
No,
what?
here you need to add the task for it. So whenever we are using that pipeline, then you need to add the task for it. So let me just go for the starter pipeline. And let's say if I'm getting inside that, see here, there is a show assistance. If you want to do that, then Sonar Cube is also there. So right
Yeah,
now I'm
yes.
not getting that, because first of all, what you need to do, so these are the external parts. You need
Hmm.
to attach it. So you need to add it from the marketplaces. So see here, there is a marketplace browse. So if I can leave this, first of all, you need to add the extension. You can see here, multiple things are there.
Like in VS Code, not in VS
No,
Code, Visual
DevOps.
Studio. Okay,
DevOps.
okay. We need to add
So you
again
need to
Sonar
add
at
the DevOps.
DevOps. Okay,
Yes.
okay,
So
okay.
see here, Sonar Cube is there, Sonar Cloud is there, everything is there. Even so, this is for the code quality check, Sonar Cube. If you want to go for the security vulnerability, there is a mend bolt. So you can search for the mend bolt. Earlier it was called as a white source bolt. So you can choose one of that. And where you will get that option. So inside the organization, let me just
Plugins.
refresh. Yeah.
Yeah, like from the .NET side, we are using that extension Sonar Cube, and
Yes.
again for DevOps side, we need to use this extension, correct?
Yeah, there are multiple extensions are present. See
Okay.
here, here you will get the another option for the extension once you enable any one of the extension for it. So like that. See here, extensions are here also. Got it?
Yeah, now clear. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let me close this window, and here we are, this window as well. I guess we are done with the virtual machine. Let me just close this, and this one we required. Okay. So now let's get back to our web application. And here we are on to our settings. Okay, not this one. Let me just close this. Yes, we were talking about the deployment center. So this is my target environment. So you don't need to keep your source over here. You can keep your source in your DevOps portal itself. So now we already have our repo. So I can just go for this repo. So for this, you need to enable the SCM basic authentication. SCM it means source control manager. So you need to just enable it from your configuration, and then you can have your organization, projects, then your repository, everything will be coming over here. Okay. So this part is done. I'm not going to do anything else. Okay. FTPS credential. Sometimes what happened, your code is present in your local machine. So if you want to do the drag and drop, it is not possible for the virtual machine, right? So what you need to do, you need to create the FTPS credentials from here, and then you need to install WinSCP or FileZilla kind of softwares, and then you can use this endpoints. Okay, so this part is also done. Now let's go for the slots.
Ma'am, those credential, it's a organization repository credential.
No, to connect this web application with the local machine.
Local
So
machine.
those are the authentication and authorization.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's talk about the slot. So this is my dev, right? I can just put it as a dev or test or something like that, whatever naming convention. Now, cloning means what? Cloning means you are just copying the default settings. Default setting means what? Your default web server. After that, your app service plan. After that, your runtime, whatever is there. If you want to clone it, then you can use your main web applications clone. Okay, and then add. Remember one thing, cloning doesn't mean that whatever the code is present in the web application is cloned over here. No, they are not doing that. They are just cloning the default settings, nothing else. Now let's wait for a while for the slots. Okay, now see here, I have my both the slots. Now here you can see option. Now, if I want to enable the traffic manager, I don't need to do so many things. I just need to say that, okay, 5% traffic, send it over here. That's it, and save. No need to create a traffic manager as a service. No need to add this web application in the backend, nothing. Because this is a feature of our web application. So I'm not doing that right now. And this is my this web application. Remember that this is my this web application and this is the code, right? And this is the URL. What is the URL? Architect day 2 and then some number. Now I am getting inside my dev, which is a slot. See here, now I am inside the slot. You will get same options here, but this is a different, this is kind of an individual environment. Now if I can browse this, then the URL says dev. See here, that is a difference. It means if I want to test it, I will get a separate URL, a standalone separate space where I can perform something, where I can try something out, right? So this is my dev environment. Now what is next? So for example, let's say I don't know where it is written, because for the virtual machine we know that we can connect, we can get inside the int pub, we can get inside the www root folder, and then inside the root folder there is a index.html. But here I don't know where is my index.html page. So here also you can get to know about it by using this. So if I'm getting on inside this, then there is a app service plan, and here we have the deployment tools. So if I can go for this deployment tool, which is my app service editor. So you will get the editor option. So see here, this is my editor. And side by side, if I want the complete structure of my, I want to access my server, then there is an advanced tool. This is also called as a kudu tool, right? So let me just click on this kudu tool as well. See here, this is a kudu tool and this is my app service editor. And this is a auto save mode. So ongoing application, production application or any application, you just want to make some changes. Let's say right now there is a Flipkart and by mistake I just want to create the different name convention for it. Flipkart name, I just want to change it. I can make the changes in ongoing production environment itself. So see here, this is my code. You can see that. So this is my dev environment. If I can go over here, see here, your web application is running and waiting for your content, right? I can say that, okay, dev web app is running. Or else what I can do, I can just completely copy this code. And then what I can do, this is the code, right? So control all, control C, and then here Control V. Done. So once I done with this, I can go for this dev environment and let me refresh my page. See, it's quick, no downtime, nothing, right? So like that, you can host any application quickly on this. Even if I want to make some changes on that, then also I can make the changes, right? So like this here, this is the backend page, which is a hosting star.html. Now you can see that, say like this, okay, then I can run that web application. Now my Amazon web application is here, so I can copy anything. No. So this is just a HTML page you are copying, right? But the thing is, cart, these connectivities are connected with other services,
Yes, yes.
right? So you don't have the access on that. So it will throw you the error.
But this is only testing purpose, developer
Testing
testing
purpose,
purpose.
yes. You
Yes,
can't make any changes on it.
changes. Even user also cannot access this.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
No one can access it.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay. So like that. Now, if I want to get inside the server, so let's say here, this is a Kudu tool where you can get to know about the environments. You can work with the PowerShell script. You can go for the process explorer where you will get all kind of informations. See here. So what is the total CPU time? What is the working set, private memory, everything you will get to know about it. Tools, if you want to diagnose these things, if you want to create some kind of webhooks or anything, you can just do that. Now let's say if I'm going for the debug and PowerShell. So see here, this is my server, and if I want to work with that, I will work from here itself, right? So here my code is present. If you remember that hosting start.html is present in my site folder, and inside that there is a www root folder, and this is my hosting HTML. So you don't need to get inside that cd home, cd site. No, you just click on it and you will get to know about it. So if I want to work with this, I can just directly work with that by using ls. What kind of files are present over here? If I want to create some more files, I can create that. I can run that from here itself, right? So this is what the Kudu tool. Let me close this window. Let me close this window as well. Now my dev environment is having this web application, and my production main web application is not having this. It is kind of a default page, right? Now what I can do, let me go back to my deployment slots and let's do the swapping. So that swapping will take some time. So till that time, what will happen? Let me just see. See, whenever they are doing the swapping, let me go for my this web application and then refresh that page. It is coming. Like if I'm going for this page, still it is working. It doesn't change anything, right? See here. Still the swapping is going on. It doesn't mean that whenever I'm doing the swapping, there is a downtime. No, there is no downtime. So till that swapping is not done completely, you will get your same application. See here, now my swapping is done. So if I can go over here, refresh that page, I'll get this. Done. So like that, you can do the swappings. Okay. Now, let's go for the environment variable. Major part we have already covered, right? Now, let me just get inside my environment. Now, what is mean by the environment? So your web application, it is not only a single web application, right? It requires multiple things. It requires the connectivity from the database. It requires connectivity from the storage account. It might require the connectivity from the function app, or other than that, multiple things. API management we also have. We have multiple things. Now, this is a secure platform. Every service is the secured one. So we need the connectivity, proper connectivity. If I want my web application wants to access something from the database, we need the connectivity. If my web application wants to access something from the storage account, we need the connectivity, right? So for that connectivity, you can go for this app settings. You can add one app settings. See here, here we have the connection string and here we have the app settings, right? So if I can go over here, the slotting, swapping and all these things are there, right? Done. See here, connection string. You can see that I can add the name, I can add the value. Means if I want to connect my database, SQL database, I need to put the name of my SQL database, whatever the naming convention of my app settings. I need to put the connection string inside the value and then type. So this particular connection string only support this part: Redis cache, document DB, event hub, service bus, then notification hub, custom, PostgreSQL, SQL Azure, SQL Server, and MySQL. But other than that, if you want to connect your storage account, what you can do? You can go for the app settings. And then from the app setting, you can click on add. You can add the storage account name, or I can say that storage account connectivity, and then value of my storage account connection string, right? And then here we have the option of deployment slot settings. Now this is something we need to understand. Now whenever you are doing slot swaps, see here, for example, this is your production. That production is connected to database, right? By using the app settings, right? Now there is a slot and that slot is connected to storage. I'm just keeping it as like this to understand it. Basically, your slot, your production environment, everyone is connected to the same database, right? So now let's see. This is connected to the storage. This is connected to the database. Now, whenever you are doing the simple swap, it becomes like this. For the normal swap, the production environment is over here, and that, sorry, here not the production environment. Your production environment becomes slot, right? So it will go over here, right? And this is connected to whom? DB, right? So see here, this is the one. And then your production environment goes over here, and then it is connected to the storage. So this is what? This is a normal swapping. But if you enable this option, deployment settings, so whenever I am doing the swapping, you need to take my application settings with me, right? It means if you are doing it like this, swap with slots, if I'm doing swapping with slots, then what will happen? This is my slot. This is my production environment. And this is my storage. And this is my database. Are you getting that point now? If I want to keep my app settings with me, whether you are doing swapping or not, then you need to enable this option, right? Otherwise, you can just skip that option. Okay. So this part is done. Now,
Once 100% deployment done, still that slot storage still required, or it automatically merge with main DB?
no, it will not merge with main DB. You need to make these things.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right? Okay. Now, once we are done, there is a configuration. Configuration settings. You can just go through the general settings. Here we also have the stat setting where you can change your stack. .NET, .NET 9, .NET 8, ASP.NET 3.5. So you can change your slots, runtimes as well. You can go for the health checks as well. So it is kind of availability of removing unhealthy instances. If there are multiple instances in the backend, by adding your horizontal scaling, then it will check that health probe. It is working like a health probe. Default documents. So see here, this is your hosting start.html. So default documents, it will first of all check for the index.html. If that index.html is not present in your web application, then it will go for the other HTML pages and it will keep that HTML pages over here itself, right? So this is kind of you are creating the preferences. That's it. After that, here we have the path mapping. Path mapping is having some handler mapping. Handler mapping means what? It is kind of adding your custom script. So if you want to handle the request for the specific file extensions, or you want to add some file extensions, or you want to add some scripts for it, or you want to add some arguments for it, you can add that inside the handler mapping, right? After that, here you can see here, this is the our file path, physical file path. But let's say I don't want this physical file path. I want to create a virtual directory. Inside the site, there is one more folder, and then inside the folder, there is a www root folder. You can do that. Right now, with our S1 standard tier, we are getting 50 GB extra storage for the logging purpose, backup purpose. But let's say for this web application, you want to attach some attach some file shares or the blob storage. Then you can add your storage account over here. 5 Azure files you can add, and then Azure files are having the storage capacity in a terabytes. So if you want to attach it, you can attach it from here itself. Okay. So this is the part. Now after that, here we have the instances. Right now this is my instance server. After that, here we have the authentication. This is another feature. So I can go for identity, IDP, right? Now what is mean by the IDP? So if you have your applications and it is throwing that message that, okay, don't need to create sign up with that. If you already have an Apple account, Google account, Twitter account, Skype account, then you can use that username and passwords. So that option is present here. So that option is not in our virtual machines and all, right? So this option is present over here. You can access this web application if I can just restrict it by using the Twitter accounts only. Twitter, or if you are the user of Google or anything, I can just add that, right? If I want to restrict it from only the users who are present in my organization or in my portal identity, enter ID, they can only access it. Then I can do this Microsoft select, right? So whenever we are doing that identity, just remind me that I will show you this, or else I can just do it right now as well. Client secret for 90 days. It is creating that service principal. Okay, I'm just going to add it right now. This is my both the application. Let me just search it here. Also I'm just going to search it, right? I'm working on it. Okay, now once you go for this, once you attach it, then now this is my dev environment. So I guess this is my dev environment. Now let me just refresh my page. See here, now it is asking me. So if you have the username, as I am the owner of it, so I am having the username inside my portal, then and then only I accept it. And then only you can access it. Right? You can also try it out. If I'm giving you this link, you can access this, right? But if I'm providing you this link, you can't access it, right? So like that, right? So now next thing, so like that you can add the IDP and then you can delete that. Sorry, I just deleted. Now you can able to access it. Let me remove it. Okay, let it be. Now here identity part, I'm not going to talk about it right now. We'll talk about these things in our identity management only, right? Custom domain, if you want to attach your custom domains with that, you can attach it. So for example, this is not this architect day 2 devs kind of, this is Flipkart application, flipkart.com. So you need to purchase it first of all, and then you need to add the custom domain over here. On top of it, if you want to add some security by adding the certificates, you can just add it from here as well. And then here we have the networking part. So here you will get to know about that all the things for the networking. And now you can see here, inbound we have only one public IP address. So if someone wants to access the web application, there is one public IP address. But if web application wants to access something, here we have multiple public IP addresses. That why? So web application, if web application wants to connect with other services, maybe it is from the cloud, maybe it is out of the cloud, out of the Azure cloud or anything, then here this connectivity will go with separate public IP addresses. Okay. Then interesting part is web jobs. Web job is something like backend application, or I can say the backend trigger. So you can see here, now I'm working on my laptop, and in the backend you can see here on top of it the date and time is going on. So it doesn't affect on my application, right? Ongoing application, nothing. It is just in the backend, it is running. So like that, let's suppose whenever I'm purchasing something from the Flipkart application, I'm purchasing something, and in the backend it will trigger some information. Let's say from the triggering point, whenever you are purchasing something, I wanted to start the triggering and I wanted to store that information somewhere else, right? Or let's say I wanted to take the logs, or let's say I wanted to collect some information. So this is kind of a background jobs. So these background jobs can be done by web jobs. Now, whenever we are talking about the web jobs, you need to upload the file, you need to write the script in the PowerShell, and then you need to add that script, and then you can trigger it. Now, whether you want to continuously trigger it or the just schedule it, you can choose that. Now, another thing, for Microsoft, I'm not saying that only for the web application, for Microsoft, either it is a GitHub portal, either it is a web application Azure portal, either it is a DevOps portal, everywhere they are using the same cron expressions to add the scheduler, right? Now, what is mean by the cron expression? Usually it is of 6 digits. First digit gives you the seconds. Second digit will tell you about the minutes. Third digit will tell you about the hours and all. Now, if I can go for this cron expressions, Microsoft has also given the link for it. Cron X, not corn. It's cron expressions. Right? So this is a cron expression. Let me just check. Do I have that option? Oracle. I just want to go for this one. This one. You can see here now. It is a easy. You will get multiple other options as well, links, but this is the proper one as per my understanding. So first digit will give you the seconds, second digit will give you the minutes, hours, day of month, day of week, and the last digit is not that much required. It is kind of optional. Now to separate it out, we have the special characters as well. Comma means and character. So suppose I wanted to run this this script or anything on 1st January, comma 3rd January, comma 7th January. So like that you can just add that comma. If I wanted to run it from this to this, let's say from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. continuously, you can use dash. Star is kind of every, and hash is for the at, right? So here you will get all the expression details, examples, everything, right? So let me just copy that and then paste it over here. Okay, done. So like that, for the backend jobs, you can go for web jobs, but the thing is, you can't access like a web application we are accessing from the internet. You can't access the web jobs from the internet. You have the separate web job dashboard from where you can monitor it. Okay. After that, here there are multiple other options as well, but I will go for service plan, and here you can see that scale up and scale down. So this is what? This is a vertical scaling and it is a manual. Okay. And here we have the scale out, scale in and scale out. This is the horizontal scaling. So if you remember, we already discussed about that rule based. By using my S1 standard tier, I am able to go up to 10 instances, right? But let's say I wanted to go with my rule based, then I can go for, okay, let me just close this. Where is that? Async scaling? No. This is a manual one. Ah, yes, there is a configure option. Okay. So see here, if you can remember, we have done this part in our VMSS as well. So same thing, you will be having it over here. The best part of it is management. So for the virtual machine skill set, the first instance is also your 2 vCPU. Minimum number is 2 vCPU, 4 GB RAM or 8 GB RAM. But here our first instance is 1 vCPU and 1.75 GB RAM, right? So it is a minimum amount we can just start, and then we can increase the count and decrease the count as well. And this is the fastest one. Okay. So I'll not go into deep into that because we already talk about it. The same thing, you need to go for the scale based on the metric. Then you can add the multiple conditions from here, and then you can create the scaling in and out. Okay. So this part is also done. Console, if you want to connect from here itself, you can use the console. We already talked about the kudu tool, how to use that kudu tool. See here, www root folder is there. If I'm choosing ls for it, I will get that data. See here, hosting start.html page. So you can work from here, you can work from here, either you can work from here as well, right? And other than that, API management connectivity course. I will not talk about the course right now because, mm, okay, let me just talk about it. So this option course is the cross origin resource sharing. Now, whenever I'm saying that cross origin resource sharing means what? Your Facebook account, your WhatsApp account, those are earlier separate providers, right? Those are separate companies, but now they merged, right? Now, whenever they are merging it, now you can have the connectivity from the WhatsApp to Facebook, Facebook to WhatsApp, right? So this connectivity means what? It means you are sharing your resources. Sharing the resources means we are connecting through the origins. So Facebook is having the different origin, www.facebook.com. This is the origin. WhatsApp is having its own origin, www.whatsapp.com. So if we want to create the sharing connectivity from them, in between them, we need to add. So let's say, suppose this is my facebook.com, then I need to add here allowed origin as a whatsapp.com. So this is what the cross origin resource sharing. And this is required mostly on our all kind of applications, right? For example, suppose I'm searching for MMT. So let me just go for make my trip. So if I'm going for the makemytrip.com, you can book your flight tickets. Is that mean that all the flights and all make my trip is owner of that origins? No. If you want to book a ticket for Air India has its own origin, but you can book it from here itself, right? So because there is a communication between both the things. So it is kind of a course. And makemytrip.com is acts as a front end, and that Air India, then we have the other options. Same for the villas, holiday packages, trains, buses, and all. They have their own origins, and we are connecting through that, which is called as a backend APIs, right? So this is my front end, and other than that, we have the backends, right? So this works with the API management. All right. So let me just close this, and this all things work because of the course in the backend. So this part is also done. Monitoring. I'm not going to talk about that monitoring part right now. And we are done for the web application. Okay. Any questions with that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ma'am, like we talked about those authentication, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like for example, whenever users logging with his username and password, so after that login successful, and so from the backend side, JWT tokens raise, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So want to know, so that JWT token is who will verify, ma'am? Like it's on backend verifier or DevOps team will verify? Means what is the process? Like in short,
That is
want
a
to know.
great question. So if you want to verify the JWT tokens and all, see, this is the normal picture. Whatever I have created over here, this is kind of a normal picture. This is the what we can say high level. But you are not accessing the web application directly.
Yes.
You are saying that, okay, load balancers are there, but no, the actual part is API managements. So the API management is one from where you can verify the things. It is kind of a proxy servers. So from here, you can add your multiple, what we can say, restrictions. You can add multiple checks on it, everything. And from here, you can verify the JWT tokens, everything you can do it from here.
And for that JWT token, ma'am, we have some session timing, is right?
Mm-hmm.
So who will decide that, like UI developer or like DevOps one? Because from the backend, we are not setting any time for that JWT tokens.
I guess that is done by the developers only, not a part of DevOps.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't see like a timing. Maybe I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Ah,
never did
so
that
for
thing.
that, I guess we need to do the we need to do some explore, because I have also not worked with that. See, my work is for the architect level. So I'm not creating anything. I'm not writing anything because I'm not a developer. So whatever the code is coming from there, my work is to give the access. My work is to understand the process. The code is already there. And if I want to understand the codes and all, I'm using the GitHub Copilot for it.
Okay, got
Yeah. So
it.
I'm not a hardcore developer. Okay. But I will
Yeah,
give you these options. Okay. API management, what you will get in web application, what are the features, everything.
yeah, yes. Whatever we are getting the options from the where all those get from the DevOps team only.
Yes.
Just we are developing and we are building and like DevOps team deploying those APIs. That's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay, all right. So this part is also done. Web application is done for us. Now, let me ask you one thing. Is it kind of too much data in a one day or what? Because next services are also having so many things, function app. Then we have to work with the logic app, not deep dive, but at least we need to understand what are the services, containers, AKS, and all. So, do you want me to take it tomorrow if it is too much for today?
Yeah, please.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Because I can understand that in a one go itself, you are just working with multiple services.
As we are
Okay.
not a developer, it's too high level.
Ah, yes. So that's why I'm not doing the deep dive as well. Because if I'm doing the deep dive, it is kind of just, you may think about why I'm here.
Yeah, like we can understand the server and all, but
Mhm.
this is web part and all, little bit bouncy. I
Yeah,
Yeah,
need to
like,
revise it.
yes.
No, it's
and
good for me.
even it's for me, like this is like everything is new for me, so it is going like a bouncer for me. I
Me too.
need some
So
time
just
to understand all those things.
So those who are not from the developer background, just understand that every day we are accessing multiple applications. So the in the back end, these are the things are working, right? To whenever we are accessing the web application, it is from the APIs, API management. Then API management is connected to, and there are multiple load balancers also. In the backend load balancer, we have the backend server, and these are the backend servers, web application, virtual machines, and so on. And they are also connected to someone, right? So these are interconnected to each other. That's why every time I'm taking the example of online shopping website, so you can relate the things. Okay, but still for today it is too much. So tomorrow we will continue with the same thing, and we'll try to start our storage part as well. Okay, and let me just work with that to make this simple, and I will also give you the some kind of pointers when to choose what. Okay, so these are the things are here. I guess we are good for today. And another thing, okay, so today what you need to do, once you get the lab environment, so AZ104 perform only lab number 8. 9 you can go for this one. Okay, let me just go over here. This
And for
thing.
me, everything new, so it is bouncing for me now. I don't know.
No need to worry. See, go through the recordings again. Okay. One by one, create a virtual machine. Simple. If you are new to this, simple create a virtual machine,
Mm-hmm.
connect that virtual machine. That's it. And just explore. It is like your laptop.
Mm.
That's it. Okay. Now, over here, if you are new for this, I will suggest you go for AZ900 GitHub Labs.
Mm.
So here we have the AZ900 GitHub Labs as well. Okay, this is not available here only. We will have that. Walkthroughs. Okay, done. See here, this is a simple lab.
Mm-hmm.
Create a virtual machine, it will take only 10 minutes. See,
Yeah.
connect, how to take the RDP, right? How to connect with the PowerShell. See here, simple things, and how to install the IIS server. That's it. Done.
Yeah,
So,
I'll do that.
okay, so if you go through this, you will get two things.
Mm-hmm.
One is, if you go through the recording, you will get to know how to install the feature from
Mm-hmm.
the local server. And if you complete this lab, you will get to know about that. Okay, there is one more option that I can do. Install the web server feature from the PowerShell.
Yeah.
There are multiple ways,
Mm.
right? So
Oh.
this thing is for everyone. So let me just copy this link as well. For the practice purpose, you can just go through this. Okay. And then this is the virtual machine. So out of that virtual machine, you just need to complete these tasks. Task 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, for this one, implement web application. See here, this is a simple one. Staging slot, production slot is there. External Git is also there, right? So if possible, go through this. or else simple create a web application and just check. That's it. Browse it. Done. Okay.
I'll do that.
All right. Now, another thing, those who are the developers, go for AZ204 GitHub Labs. So this is the first one, lab. New repository. Okay, this is the new repository. And okay, Microsoft is still working on it. They are just changing little bit here and there. API management. Yes, this is the one, app service plan. So this is for you. So you need to go for this and that. Okay, so here, .NET developers, you need to use your Visual Studio Code. You need to install the .NET SDKs, and then you need to work with this. Container, don't start with container, just stick with this part. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, it is little bit simple. Earlier, it was a proper uh, application where we are having the front end, back end, and then storage account, image, we need to pull it. So it is simpler. Okay, let me just give you this link as well. You need this link for your next part. Okay, so I will give you the heads up. So for the developer, whenever I'm saying that for the developers, you need to go through this, then you need to follow AZ204 labs. Okay. All right. I guess that's it for today. So let's connect tomorrow. Tomorrow, a little bit, I will reduce the content because it will again go bouncer for you. So I don't want to create these things, but we need to understand as an architect level, we need to understand all the services in Azure, but we can't cover each and everything. So let's little bit heads on that, and then we'll do one thing, we'll go for the case study part. Okay, and I will also give you, so if you are thinking about that, I'm new to that, how if someone client brings some particular requirement for me and I wanted to figure out what is the architecture diagram and all, how to do that, how it will help me on that. So that part also we have so many tricks and tips, so I will give you that as well. Okay. All right, that's
Yeah,
it for today. Okay, perfect. Everyone, can we stop the recording now?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay.